Along with Alex Hawkins and Hawk, let's be honest, going into the ball game, they've already labeled it as the Meadowland Massacre.
I wouldn't be surprised, but wait now. Had dinner with John McVay and his wife the other day. He said it is no pleasure having to coach against Tom Landry or play the Dallas Cowboys. He said, why don't you two get together and devise a game plan that we have, and a good one.
Well, I bet it'll be a good one. It'll need be a good one because the Giants had a rather disappointing performance against St. Louis. And, of course, Dallas, the only unbeaten club in the conference. It would appear to be David and Goliath at least. Let's go down on the field and take a look, and we'll find out about the Giants and the Dallas Cowboys. And at least the first sign for the Giants, a good one, they have won the toss. That means Efren Herrera and the special team from Dallas and the pride of Guadalajara, numero uno, number
Good
one.
afternoon. At the tone,
Efren
the time
Herrera
will be one.
kicking off.
And 10 seconds.
For the Giants, the deep man is Bob Hammond, a more exciting ball player around here.
Good afternoon.
Number
At the
33,
tone, the time
down
will be
there with
one.
him. Number 27, that would be
and
Willie
20
Spencer,
seconds.
and he has given way instead. And they have changed their receivers as we
Good
look
afternoon.
at the
At the tone, the time will be one.
And referee Gene Barth, along with Connell, Bergman,
and 30
Vandenberg,
seconds.
Marshall, and Graham.
Good afternoon. At the tone, the time will be one.
So Beasley Reese and Bob Hammond
and 40 seconds.
And Efren Herrera putting a 7-0 mark on the line, and here we go.
Good afternoon. At the tone, the time will be one.
Beasley Reese on his goal line.
And 50 seconds.
He's to the 10, to the 20. Upended at the 25-yard line.
Good afternoon. At the tone, the time will be 1, 2.
Let's take a look at the Giants' offensive line. 71 Gravel, 63 Van Horn, 61 Chandler, 73 Mullen, 62
Good afternoon. At the tone, the time will be 1, 2.
The boys will handle the ball. 85 Robinson, 86
and 10
Perkins,
seconds.
87 the tight end Shirk. At quarterback, number 9 Pisarcik. And the running backs are
Good
Hammond,
afternoon.
number 33,
At the tone, the time will be
Zonka,
1,
number 39.
2.
And Perkins
and 20 seconds.
Goes wide right with Robinson in a slot on the right side. First and 10 from the Giants.
Good afternoon.
21.
At the tone, the time will be 1, 2.
First man is Zonka, and he gets out across the 30-yard line. Picked up 4, so it should be about second.
Good afternoon. At the tone, the time will be 1,
on defense
2.
Now. Big Too Tall Jones, 72. Q, 75. White's 54. And Martin, 79.
Good afternoon. At the tone, the time will be
Henderson,
1,
56.
2.
Brunig in the middle at 53.
And 50
Lewis, number
seconds.
50. At the corners, Barnes and Kyle with Waters and Harris at safety.
Good afternoon.
Second
At the
down
tone, the
and
time will
about
be
6.
1, 3. Exactly.
Robinson is right and Perkins left. And it's Zonka again. And he fights his way out to the 35, and he is just shy of a first down. He'll need about a yard, I would assume. Larry Zonka has not done very much. In fact, in his last 4 games, he's carried only 61 yards.
He's not running the ball a lot, but he has been
seconds.
fairly effective as a blocker, Ben.
One interesting thing, too, about the Giants,
Good
they do not score in the first quarter. They have scored 1 touchdown this year in the first quarter, and that was a defensive player. George Martin intercepted a pass and ran 30 yards for a touchdown against Washington.
At the tone, the time will be 1,
Third down,
3.
yard and a half to 2 to go.
And
the Giants
40
trying to keep their first drive alive. And a flag as Hammond gets out and would appear to have the first down, but we have to see. Flag on the play.
And 50 seconds.
Bobby Hammond had an outstanding night the other night in the Monday night game. He was one of the few bright spots for the Giants.
Well, there's a bright spot offside
4.
against Dallas.
Exactly.
And so the Giants, with Tom Landry, the winningest active coach, looking on. He's now won 144 games. And since 1966,
and 10 seconds.
his record is 119 and 40. And they'll march off the 5 against Dallas.
Good afternoon. At the tone, the time will be 1,
So the Giants will take
4.
over. On a first down, that will spot the ball on the Giant 40-yard line. We had a very light rain. Let's listen.
56.
Good afternoon. At the tone, the time will be 1, 4.
Offside would be Tom Henderson, the left linebacker, number 56. So first and 10 for the
Good
Giants.
Afternoon. At the tone, the time will be
40-yard line.
4.
Perkins wide right and Robinson in a slot right. Dixon, the tight end, is in a flex about a yard or 2 off the line.
Good afternoon. At the tone, the time will be 1, 4. And 50 seconds.
And again, a Dallas player moved, and it was Jethro Pugh. Whether he was drawn off remains to be seen.
1, 5. Exactly.
And it'll be number 75, Jethro Pugh, guilty of the infraction.
Then you can't help but look for Dallas to stumble someplace. Along about the midpoint in every season, this is the best start they've gotten off into in their 16-year history, 18-year history, I guess it is now.
Good afternoon at the Tone. The time will be 1-5.
Kind of look for them to have a low spot someplace, and it might very well be today. With the game plan I've designed, you're going to love it.
That's right. We're going to look at the Hawkins design game plan of the Giants.
Good afternoon at the Tone. The time will be 1-5.
On the Giant 45-yard line. And again, a slot right.
Good afternoon, Mr. Tone. The time will be 1-5.
Brought down by Randy White, number 54, who teams up with Harvey Martin on the right side. Too Tall Jones and Jethro Pugh on the other. And we'll take a look at that right side, Hawk.
And we'll take a look at that left side offensively. Doug Van Horn, one of the better blockers in football. Gordon Gravel opening up there, and Larry Zonka doing what he does best.
The time will be 1.
Battering in there and getting just about.
Exactly.
The Giants are operating where they should.
They're going along with my plan, Ben.
Well, here they go.
Good afternoon, Mr. Tone. The time will be 1-6. And
ball on the 47. Zonka. And there'll be a flag on the play. And the first man that came up and get him was Charlie Waters. Came up from his safety spot. But another flag. Offsides. Dallas. That's 3 times in a row.
Dallas a little over even.
That was my game plan. Make Dallas jump off sides a lot.
And you are successful. And Mr. Tom Landry is wondering, what about my men out there? They're jumping the gun.
Good afternoon at the Tone. The time will be 1.
Another first down on this drive.
And 40 seconds.
And they'll go to work for the first time in Dallas territory.
Defense offside.
Good afternoon at the Tone. The time will be 1.
It's the second time he's been caught. Jethro Pugh was caught the other time. 3 offsides against Dallas. So the Giants have it first and 10 on the Dallas 47-yard line.
7.
Robinson right and Perkins left. Shirk is a tight end now on the right side.
Good afternoon at the Tone. The time will be 1-7.
Zonka. And Zonka gets to the 40-yard line. He picked up a quick 7, and it'll be second down and 3 to go for a first down. And the Giants, keeping the ball on the ground, are moving.
And 20 seconds.
You know, every time you look at Larry Zonka, you can't help wonder how the World Football League affected him.
Good afternoon at the Tone. The time will be 1-7.
To the Dolphins and finally going, they made him just such an offer he couldn't turn down. But I believe in that hungry athlete theory. Keep them hungry and they'll play a lot longer, a lot better.
And
good afternoon at the Tone. The time will be 1-7.
Go on now is professional pride against the best, the Dallas Cowboys. Second and 3, and it's Zonka.
Good afternoon at the Tone. The time will be 1-7.
He refuses to go down. The first man to hit him was D.D. Lewis, number 50, who missed last week's game. He was out against Detroit with a virus.
Good afternoon at the Tone. The time will be 1-8.
Look at that play again. You'll see number 43 coming into the picture someplace here. There's Bob Brunick coming in, and there's Cliff Harris. He's ever
Good afternoon
present.
at the Tone. The time will be 1-8.
Always around the ball.
And 10 seconds.
So the Giants now have third down and just about a yard, not even a full yard.
Good afternoon at the Tone. The time will be 1-8.
Ball
and 20 seconds.
The 37-yard line of Dallas. Robinson is left and Perkins is right.
Good afternoon at the Tone. The time will be 1-8.
Zonka again.
And 30
Zonka
seconds.
has the first down. And he moves it to the Dallas 35-yard line.
The time will be 1-8.
Carl Chandler and Tom Mullet.
And 40 seconds.
Offensive line for the New York Giants is moving them off the ball. They're controlling right now the line of scrimmage.
Good afternoon at the Tone. The time will be 1-8.
Wading through. D.D. Lewis finally coming in there.
And 50 seconds.
Again, Cliff Harris.
Carl Chandler, as you pointed out, put a good block on the middle linebacker.
Good afternoon at the Tone. The time will be 1-9.
So the ball is on the 35-yard line of Dallas.
Exactly.
First and 10 for New York. Perkins left, Robinson right. And this is a back split, a
Good
passing
afternoon at the Tone. The time will be 1.
No pass. It's Hammond.
And 10
He is
seconds.
really hit hard by Benny Barnes, number 31.
Benny Barnes is outstanding.
Good afternoon at the Tone. The time will be 1-9.
Defensive corner or playing on the special teams. He is
and 20
outstanding.
seconds.
One thing we should keep track of today, it's usually an indication of how the Giants are going to play. The
Good
quarterback
afternoon
sacks.
at the Tone. The time will be 1-9.
In the 3 Giant victories this year, the quarterback was sacked
And
only
30
3
seconds.
times. In their 4 losses, the quarterback was sacked 24 times.
Good afternoon at
so
the
if
Tone. The
Sergeant
time will
can
be
stay away from the
1-9.
charging Dallas line and linebackers,
40 seconds.
they've got a shot. Second and 8 on the Dallas 33.
Good afternoon at the Tone. The time will be 1-9.
First pass of the day. Pisarcik out
And 50
off the
seconds.
fingertips of Perkins. D.D. Lewis over there to defend with him.
DD's got great range for
at the Tone. The time will be
exceptional linebacker
1:10.
against the pass.
He better have,
Exactly.
because Perkins has been timed in the 100 at 9.6 and in the 40 at 4.5. So you
Good
better be able to
afternoon at the
move.
That's
Tone. The
moving.
time
He's
will be
number 2 draft choice, and he
1:10.
looked pretty good the other night.
And 10
They bring
seconds.
in Dixon now. Al Dixon and Gary Shirk, the other tight end, goes out as they bring in the plays from the bench.
Good afternoon at the Tone. The time will be 1:10.
The other New York club is on the scoreboard. The
20
New York
seconds.
Jets leading Miami 3-0 in the first quarter. A
Good
third and
afternoon
8.
at the Tone.
Ball
The time
on the
will be
Dallas 33.
1:10. And 30 seconds.
Sarchik looks right. And
Good
off the
afternoon,
hands
Mr.
of
Tone. The time
Robinson,
will be
and he
1:10.
was sandwiched by Barnes and Harris.
40
Jimmy
seconds.
Robinson. Now, he doesn't do that. When he gets his hands on the ball, he ordinarily catches. I saw him
Good
drop one the
afternoon
other
at the
night.
Tone. The time will be
Jimmy.
1:10.
When he catches it, he's electrifying.
And
He
50
is
seconds.
averaging almost 22 yards on a catch. He's had 2 big ones, 78
Good
against
afternoon at
Atlanta
the Tone. The
and
time
an
will be
80-yard touchdown pass
1:11.
against Philadelphia.
Exactly.
So it is 4th and 8. Joe Danello will try a 50-yard field
Good afternoon
goal.
at the
He'll
Tone.
start
The
ball
time
on
will
the
be
40.
1:11.
The line of scrimmage at 33.
And
It
10
is up.
seconds.
No good. It is wide left.
Good afternoon at the Tone.
So
The time will be
Giants, after a long
1:11.
drive, helped by some Dallas
20 seconds.
offsides, run out of steam on the 33, and we're scoreless with 10 left
Good
in the first
afternoon at
quarter.
the Tone. The time will be 1:11. And 30 seconds. Good afternoon at the Tone. The time will be
Your family farmed this
1:11.
land for 6 generations.
And 40 seconds.
And not one day was easy. The work never ends, but you do it with
Good
pride
afternoon
and
at
all
the
the
Tone. The
strength
time
you
will be
can muster.
1:11. And 50 seconds.
Okay, boys. Let's go.
Good afternoon at the Tone.
And
The
when
time
the
will
sun
be 1:12.
finally takes a rest, so do
Exactly.
you. And you call it Miller time. Time to relax and head for the best
Good
tasting
afternoon
beer
at the
you
Tone.
can
The
find.
time will be
Miller High
1:12.
Life, America's quality
10
beer
seconds.
since 1855.
When it's time to relax.
Good afternoon at the Tone. The time will be 1:12. And 20 seconds.
If you got the time, we got the beer.
Good afternoon at the Tone. The time will be 1:12. And 30
Dallas
seconds.
Cowboys put it in play 1st and 10 from their own 33, and the question has been answered. It is Roger
afternoon,
Staubach
Mr. Tone.
at
The time will
quarterback.
be 1:12.
Golden Richards is left, Drew Pearson
40
wide
seconds.
right, and the running backs are Preston Pearson and Robert Newhouse. In motion
Good
comes Drew
afternoon at the
Pearson.
Tone. The time will be
And the other
1:12.
Pearson is swallowed up.
And 50 seconds.
Mendenhall, number 64, nails him back at the 26-yard
Afternoon
line.
at the
How
Tone. The
quick,
time will
how
be
quick. How in the world did John
1:13.
Mendenhall get that much
Exactly.
penetration that quickly? Let's look and see. Oh, guard blocking down on him.
Good
Rapidly
afternoon
not
at the
getting
Tone. The time will be
cutoff block there.
1:13.
Mendenhall, very, very
And
quick.
10 seconds.
Extremely.
So John Mendenhall, the 6-year man out of Grambling, gets the Giants
Good
off on a
afternoon at
solid
the Tone.
note
The time will be
defensively. And Dallas
1:13.
comes back now, 2nd and
And 20
13
seconds.
from the 30.
Good afternoon
A
at
draw
the
on
Tone. The time will
Newhouse,
be
and he's got daylight.
1:13.
He gets across the 35,
30 seconds.
and down he goes at the 38-yard line, and we'll take a look at the Dallas offense. Number
Good afternoon
73,
at the
that's
Tone. The
Ralph
time will be
Neely.
1:13.
At 68, Hugh Scott, 62,
40
Fitzgerald,
seconds.
64, Rafferty, 67, Donovan. The men who will handle the ball, Golden
afternoon
Richards,
at the
number
Tone. The
83,
time will
Drew
be
Pearson, 88,
1:13.
Billy Joe Dupree, the tight end, 89.
50 seconds.
The quarterback, Roger Staubach, 26, Preston Pearson, 44, Robert Newhouse.
Good afternoon at the Tone. The time will be
Staubach brings him up.
1:14. Exactly.
And out of a shotgun they go. Dorsett is now in there along
Good
with
afternoon
Pearson.
at the Tone. The time
Roger
will
gonna
be
pull the trigger.
1:14.
Chased
And
by
10
Martin
seconds.
and Archer. Roy Archer drags him out of bounds. At the
Good afternoon at the
36-yard
Tone. The
line
time will
of
be
Dallas.
1:14.
Good coverage in the secondary
And 20
there for the
seconds.
Giants. Nobody open anywhere. Roger's not going to throw many interceptions as he's thrown how many
Good
passes?
afternoon at the
But
Tone.
he's
The
only
time
had
will be
one interception. That is
1:14.
incredible
He
statistic.
has thrown
30 seconds.
191 passes this year, 1 interception. And
Good
now,
afternoon at the Tone. The time will
punty
be
comes in. That'll be
1:14.
Danny White and Bob Hammond,
And
the
40
Giant
seconds.
safety, standing on his own 25-yard line. So there is Danny
Good
White. He's
afternoon at the
averaging
Tone. The time
39
will
a
be
boot. His longest
1:14.
55.
And 50 seconds.
Hammond will handle it inside his 25, And he fumbles, picked up and juggled, however, and fumbled again. Dallas recovers it, and Saldi goes into the end zone. Touchdown, would you believe?
Yes, I would believe.
At the Tone, the time will be 1.
Just outstanding on the special teams for the Cowboys. Jay Saldi, boy, he's been a pleasant surprise for him.
Good afternoon. At the Tone, the time will be 1.
South Carolina.
15.
Yes, sir.
And 20 seconds.
2 fumbles. Hands Dallas a touchdown.
Take a look at Bobby Hammond and look at 31.
Good afternoon. At the Tone, the time will be 1. 15.
Then it's picked up by Jones.
And 30 seconds.
And he fumbles when Lewis popped him.
Jay Saldi,
Good
look at the
afternoon.
effort
At the Tone,
here.
the
Does he
time
want
will
that
be
score?
1.
He
15.
skidded in on his numbers.
And
Jay
40
Saldi
seconds.
recovering a double fumble for a touchdown, and the Giants, who were
Good
so
afternoon.
high
At the Tone,
just
the
a
time
moment
will be
ago,
1.
have been plunged
15.
into gloom. Efren
And 50
Herrera,
seconds.
20 out of 21 points after, and it is good, so
Good
he has now
afternoon. At
gone
the Tone,
21
the
out of
time will be
22.
1. 16.
We've got 8:39 to go in the first quarter. The Dallas Cowboys 7, the Giants 7.
Good afternoon. At the Tone, the time will be 1.
We'd like to tell you the cold, hard facts
10
about another
seconds.
kind of motor oil. An oil that will give the average car up to 10
Good
extra
afternoon.
miles
At
per
the Tone,
tank
the
full of
time will be
gas.
1.
A synthetic
16.
engine lubricant that
And
can
20
also
seconds.
help a properly maintained car get started at 35 below zero.
Good afternoon. At the Tone, the time will be 1. 16.
Mobil One, the
And 30
oil that
seconds.
saves you gas and turns over at 35 below.
Good afternoon. At the Tone, the time
Introducing
will
the
be 1.
Ford in your future.
16.
The new Ford Fairmont.
And 40
A
seconds.
new car designed for today and the years ahead. Fairmont's mileage ratings are the same as a
Good
little
afternoon.
VW
At the
Rapid
Tone, the
when
time
both are
will be
equipped with
1.
automatic transmission.
16.
And this Fairmont,
And
as
50
shown,
seconds.
is actually sticker price less than this Rapid. Yet Fairmont has 90% of the head, leg, and
Good
shoulder room
afternoon.
of
At the
most
Tone,
large
the time
cars.
will be 1.
Fairmont,
17.
roomy but with mileage like a small
Exactly.
car. And the lowest sticker price in its class. Test drive Fairmont. The newest, better idea from Ford.
Good afternoon. At the Tone, the time will be 1. 17.
Before the kickoff, let's
And
take
10
another
seconds.
look at the Olympic backstroke form of Jay Saldi. You'll notice the
Good
Olympic
afternoon. At
technique
the Tone,
on a
the time
dry
will be
field.
1.
And in
17.
case you ever want to know how you advance
And
your
20
forward
seconds.
progress when you're on your back, this is as good a way as any. It's a row your boat action.
Good
Good for
afternoon.
6
At the
points.
Tone, the
Point
time will
after
be
good.
1.
7-0 Dallas. Was that double fumble
And
also
30
part of your
seconds.
game
That was
plan?
not in my, we hadn't worked on that all week.
Okay. Looked like they have it down pat.
Good afternoon. At the Tone, the
Efren
time will be
Herrera
1.
will be kicking off.
17.
Beasley Reese, number 28.
And 40
Bob
seconds.
Hammond, number 33. Ready to return it for New York. And the Giants have to recapture
Good
that
afternoon.
high
At the
that they
Tone, the
were on
time will
just a
be
moment
1.
ago.
17.
Boy, he kicked it
And 50
sideways.
seconds.
Hammond at his 6. The wedge forming. He's out to the 25.
Good
and the first
afternoon.
man
At
to
the
get
Tone,
down
the time
under
will be
that
1.
is Aaron
18.
Kyle, number 25, who was
Exactly.
playing with a fractured left wrist, would you believe?
Good
So
afternoon.
Kyle,
At the
in
Tone,
on
the
the
time
special
will be
team,
1.
makes the tackle. This
18.
telecast presented by authority
And
of the
10
National
seconds.
Football League, intended for the private use of our audience. Any rebroadcast or other use of the telecast
afternoon.
without
At the Tone, the
express
time
written
will be
consent of
1.
the New York Giants
18.
and the National Football League
And 20
is prohibited. So the Giants first and 10 on their own 28-yard line. Perkins
Good
right,
afternoon. At the
Robinson
Tone, the
left.
time will
The
be
running
1.
backs are Zonka
18.
and Hammond. And the quarterback
30
is Joe
seconds.
Pisarcik.
Good afternoon. At
Wrapped
the
up
Tone,
by
the time
D.D.
will be
Lewis
1.
was Zonka.
18.
Little Hammond tried number
And 40
33. He's
seconds.
trying to throw a block. He only weighs 170 pounds. So in a sense, you have the
Good
wrong
afternoon.
man
At the
blocking.
Tone, the time
Well,
will be 1.
You could say
18.
that, but the backs have to learn
And
to block.
50
They got to
seconds.
block for each other. And Hammond, of course, filling in. Coder will not be playing today, or if he was playing, he'd
Good
be playing very
afternoon. At the
hurt.
Tone, the time
Ideally,
will
I
be
guess
1.
you'd want Hammond
19.
at 170 to carry.
Exactly.
There's Jay Saldi, whom we saw back his way into the end zone for the touchdown.
Good
number
afternoon. At the
87.
Tone, the time will be 1. 19.
Pickup of about a yard. Second
And
and
10
9
seconds.
from the 29. Here comes Hammond. Across
Good
the
afternoon.
30
At
to
the
the
Tone, the
32. He
time
got
will
a
be
pretty
1.
good block
19.
by Doug Van Horn.
And 20 seconds.
That is the one premier lineman on the New York Giant team. He can play with the
Good
best of them.
afternoon.
Number
At the
52.
Tone, the time will be
63,
1.
excuse me, watch it.
19.
That's Charlie Waters,
And
number
30
41,
seconds.
coming up there. And that is a classic block. That's exactly the way it's supposed to be.
Good afternoon. At
So
the
the
Tone,
Doug
the
Van
time will be
Horn
1.
block springs
19.
Bob Hammond, moves the ball out
And
to the
40
Giant
seconds.
31-yard line. Pisarcik on a 3rd and 7. Goes
Good
slot left.
afternoon.
That's
At the Tone,
Robinson.
the time will be 1.
And he's
19.
inside Perkins.
And 50 seconds. afternoon at the Tone. The time will be
wrapped him up.
1:20.
So Randy Hughes, number 42, spells Charlie Waters. Came flying in there.
Good afternoon at the Tone. The time will be 1:20. And 10 seconds.
Look at Randy at the top of your screen there. Gracious me. You know, he is an underrated player, though. He doesn't get to see much action because you got guys like Cliff Harris and Charlie Waters. But they say he can play regular for almost any team in football. He's getting the opportunity today.
Former All-American out of Oklahoma. Only 3 years of experience.
The time will be 1:20.
He's just waiting his turn. Butch Johnson is waiting his turn. Dave Jennings getting the punt away. And Johnson will take it on his 34 and has to retreat to the 30.
20.
And hit by Perkins and knocked out of bounds immediately. So Johnny Perkins, number 86,
Good afternoon
knocked him
at the
out.
Tone. The time will be 1:20.
So we have 6 minutes and 38 seconds to go in the first quarter. And thanks to a double fumble, it's Dallas 7, Giants.
Good afternoon
nada.
at the Tone. The time will be 1:21. Exactly.
Are you still chained to? Gotcha.
Good afternoon at the Tone. The time will be
lets you walk away,
1:21.
free from nicks and
And
cuts.
10 seconds.
Its 36 surgical steel rotary razor blades are safely protected
Good
inside 3
afternoon at the
floating
Tone. The
heads
time will
to
be
give you a comfortable shave that's
1:21.
razor close, razor
And 20
smooth,
seconds.
for up to 3 weeks on a single charge. The rechargeable Norelco rotary razor.
Good afternoon at the
It lets you
Tone. The
walk
time
away
will be
from.
1:21. And 30 seconds.
Hi. Heading for your race car? Well, I'm the guy
Good
who checked
afternoon
it
at
out.
the Tone.
Yes,
The
sir.
time will be
Have the fan belt adjusted, the
1:21.
oil changed.
And 40
Even
seconds.
check the power windows.
Very nice.
Gonna purr like a kitten.
Good
And
afternoon
Amos,
at the
we
Tone. The
try
time will
hard.
be
We designed our own car care
1:21.
program to help make our cars safe and
50
ready to
seconds.
go.
Thank you.
Herbert, is he family? Good afternoon at the Tone. The time will be 1:22.
Judd Hirsch
Exactly.
guest stars as Rhoda has a new romance.
Dinner to a drive-in movie, make out a little bit.
Yeah, last night. Good afternoon at the Tone. The time will be 1:22.
Watch Rhoda Sunday night.
And 10 seconds.
Say, friends, don't forget, pull up a chair next Saturday at 4:30 p.m. Eastern Time for the
Good
CBS
afternoon
Sports
at the Tone.
Spectacular,
The time will be
18th annual Dixie
1:22.
500 from Atlanta International
And 20
Raceway.
seconds.
Cale Yarborough and Richard Petty, among others. We'll have the Pendleton Roundup Rodeo and the world's strongest men.
Good afternoon
CBS
at the Tone.
Sports
The time will
Spectacular
be
next Saturday.
1:22.
First and 10
30
on their own
seconds.
39 for Dallas. Billy Joe Dupree moves to the left side.
Good afternoon at the
The
Tone.
pitch
The
back
time
to
will be
Preston Pearson.
1:22.
And he
40
is
seconds.
decked on a good come up to get him by Ray Rhodes, number 22. Take a look
Good
at the
afternoon
Giant
at the Tone.
defense,
The
and
time
we
will
figure
be
to see quite a bit of them
1:22.
today. Number 75,
And 50
Martin,
seconds.
64, Mendenhall, 77, Archer, 81, Gregory.
And that's where their strength is, and
Good
these boys,
afternoon
too.
at the
The
Tone. The
backers,
time will
Van
be
Pelt, number 10, Carson, the middle
1:23.
linebacker, number 53,
Exactly.
and Brian Kelly, number 55. At the corners, Bryant, 21, Rhodes, 22, strong safety,
Good
Clyde
afternoon
Powers,
at the Tone.
29,
The time
free
will be
safety, Stanky, number
1:23.
20.
And that is not their strength.
And 10 seconds.
Second and 6 on the 43. Staubach to Preston
Good afternoon
Pearson.
at the Tone. The time will
And
be
he ran into a
1:23.
gang. John Mendenhall, number
And 20
64,
seconds.
stacked it up, and he had nowhere to go.
Oh, that's my boy, Preston Pearson. What an outstanding guy
afternoon
he
at the
is.
Tone. The
Not
time
only
will
a
be
fine player, just a fine
1:23.
person.
And 30
He's remarkable
seconds.
at 32 years old. 11-year veteran out of Illinois, and of course
Good
he is
afternoon
playing
at the
to
Tone.
stay
The time
out
will
there
be
with Tony Dorsett in the
1:23.
wings.
Yes, sir.
And 40
Preston's got
seconds.
a lot of good football ahead of him, too. He's hanging in there. Takes care of his body. Learned a long time ago to
Good
do
afternoon
the
at
last
the Tone. The
life.
time will be
Johnson right and
1:23.
Pearson left.
And 50 seconds.
Newhouse and Preston Pearson behind Staubach.
Good afternoon at the Tone. The time will be 1:24.
An attempted catch, no good. Bryant was right there defending on Butch Johnson. He tried to short hop the ball and couldn't do
time will
it.
They've
be
been working Butch in with
1:24.
Golden Richards a good bit. I
And
think
10
probably
seconds.
in a matter of time he's going to take over that position.
Butch is a kid. He's a second cousin of Senator
Good afternoon at the
Edward
Tone. The
Brooks
time
of
will be
Massachusetts.
1:24. And 20 seconds.
So Danny White, who has kicked 11 of
afternoon at the
41
Tone. The time
inside
will
the
be
20-yard line.
1:24.
And Bob Hammond,
30
who
seconds.
fumbled, you remember, the first punt by White that led to the touchdown.
Good afternoon at the Tone. The time
Hammond
will
will
be
take it on his
1:24.
20.
And 40 seconds.
And that's all.
And the flags
Good
are
afternoon
down,
at
and
the
it
Tone.
is
The
a
time
clipping
will be
penalty.
1:24.
Boy, Hammond took a hard shoulder from
And
Randy
50
Hughes,
seconds.
number 42. He took a shoulder right in the jaw. So if he's slow and getting up, we know why.
Yeah,
he really got licked.
Bobby Hammond started his career here with the Giants. He went to New Orleans, let go there, and came back here, and he's been good for him.
Well, with a flag on the play now, we'll see the call in a moment.
25.
It is 7-0 Dallas, recovering a Giant fumble. Jay Salty just brought it into the end zone. We have 5 minutes and 3 seconds left to go in the first quarter.
25.
They really worked out
20 seconds.
On number 31, Benny Barnes, that time. They clipped him, no question about that.
Good afternoon.
Well, the Giants did not get much of a return anyway. And now, with a penalty about ready to be called against them, they would really be in bad shape.
Field position, it looks like the overcast skies. We could have rain almost any time, Ben.
Yeah, we had a drizzle just before kickoff. The Irish call this a soft day.
Good afternoon.
The bottom might drop out of it, it's so soft.
I'm getting to like the Irish more and more.
And 50 seconds.
Well, Gene Barth and company, in a moment, will give us the call.
Good afternoon. The time will be 1:26. Exactly. Good afternoon. At the tone, the time will be 1:26. And 10 seconds. Good afternoon. At the tone, the time will be 1:26.
Well, in a moment, Gene Barth and the officials will get it straightened out. Danny White punts to Bob Hammond, who is knocked down by Randy Hughes. Flag on the play, and we're waiting for the interpretation.
I've never seen a year like this with officials not being able to make up their mind. It's been like this all season, that they take so long to make up their mind.
Good afternoon. At the tone, the time will be 1:26.
Against the Giants.
And 40 seconds.
Personal foul, clipping. We're going to enforce the clipping foul.
Good afternoon. At the tone, the time will be 1:26.
We might take a look and spot the clip for you. And as Gene Barth said, that's what we're going to enforce.
Let's see if we can pick it up on number 65. The flag's already down, though. You see the flag is down.
Hitting Guy Brown.
Exactly.
There you go. So there's the clip.
That's one of them.
Good afternoon. At the tone, the time will be 1:27.
They'll go for the personal foul on the
and
clip.
10 seconds.
And from the point of the foul to where they measured off, puts the ball on the Giant 10-yard line.
At the tone, the time will be 1:27.
Old Joe can't stand that kind of field position.
And 20 seconds.
They don't have that kind of offense. This is not in the game plan to be there.
They open up with a slot right. Robinson is inside Perkins. Zonka and Hammond are the running backs.
And 30 seconds.
Zonka.
Good afternoon. At the tone, the time will be 1:27.
Yeah, Bob Brunig. Oh, he's coming on, boy. That's some mighty big shoes to fill. Leroy Jordan, who played that position for the Cowboys so well and so long.
The time will be 1:27. And 50
Here's
seconds.
the score. Buffalo on a 7-yard pass from Ferguson to Gant gets on the scoreboard, and they're leading New England 7-0. 5:47 to go in the first. Cincinnati, 11-yard run by Pete Johnson. They're on the board 7-0 over Cleveland. 7 minutes left in the first quarter.
Good afternoon. At the tone, the time will be
2nd and 7 from his own 13.
And 10 seconds.
Hammond out across the 15-yard line at best.
Good
Lewis
afternoon.
on
At the
top,
tone, the time will
and
be
it was Harris at the bottom.
1:28. And 20
there
seconds.
There you go again. D.D. Lewis and Cliff Harris. Bobby Hammond.
Bob Hammond, 5'10", 170 pounder, released by New Orleans, cut once by the Giants.
And 30 seconds.
He plays guitar and bass for a gospel group conducted by his father.
Good
and
afternoon.
He must have
at the tone, the time will be
giant-sized heart to play this game at 170 pounds. And no pun intended. 3rd and 5 from the 15, 7-0 Dallas in the first quarter. And here comes Hammond.
And 50 seconds.
Short of the 20-yard line. And the man who helped him at all was Tom Mullen, number 73. He threw a pretty good block to get him out there.
Tom Mullen was a high draft choice, about a number 2 pick for the Giants. He's one of the few in the last couple of years. Prior to last year,
the drafting has been the time will be 1:29.
They have been disappointed at John Hicks and some of the other players they drafted higher. He's playing good football for them, though. Came off some knee surgery.
Good afternoon. At the tone, the time will be 1:29.
Dave Jennings averaging 40 yards a kick as long as 50. And he'll be kicking to Butch Johnson, standing on the Dallas 35.
The time will be
1:29. But he got it away. Johnson has to play it on a bounce. And on quite a few bounces, he lets it roll. And Perkins will be down there to down it inside the 25. And it rolls dead on about the 23. So Dallas will take over 1st and 10 on their own 23.
Good afternoon.
The Dallas Cowboys 7 and the New York Giants nothing. 2:56.
And 50 seconds. Good afternoon. At the tone, the time will be 1:30. Exactly.
That's a better picture. Even closer. Even better.
Good afternoon.
Polaroid's
At the tone, the time will be
SX70 does, without
1:30.
attachments, what no other camera
And
can
10
do.
seconds.
Shoot from less than a foot away. In minutes, you have a color portrait, sharp
Good
and
afternoon.
clear.
At the tone, the time will be 1:30.
Polaroid's SX70 Alpha 1.
And 20 seconds.
When it's
Good
so
afternoon.
cold,
At the
a
tone, the
radiator
time
can
will be
freeze solid,
1:30.
and you're still rolling.
And 30 seconds.
That's the mark of Xerox. When it's so hot, a radiator can blow its
Good
top,
afternoon. At the
and
tone,
you're
the
still
time will be
driving cool.
1:30.
That's the
And
mark
40
of
seconds.
Xerox. When corrosion is eating holes in radiators, and you're still going strong.
Good afternoon. At the tone, the time will
That's
be
the mark of
1:30.
Xerox. Start fresh now with year-round
And 50
protection.
seconds.
That's the mark of Xerox.
Good afternoon.
A
At the
tale
tone,
of
the
two
time will
cities
be
and a tale of two coaches.
1:31.
Tom Landry of Dallas,
Exactly.
the 6th winningest coach in football history. He's won 144. On the other side of the
afternoon.
coin,
At the tone,
you
the
have
time
John
will be
McVay, at 46 years
1:31.
old, just really
And 10
starting out.
seconds.
He took over the reins of the Giants in October of '76 for Bill Arnsparger. One man
Good afternoon.
has
At the
fulfilled
tone,
just
the
about
time will
all
be
of his hopes, and the other
1:31.
is just beginning his
And
dream.
20
It's going to be
seconds.
interesting to see how McVay does. He took over at the midway point last season, won 3 games, lost 4.
Good afternoon.
I
At the
believe for
tone, the
Giants
time
is
will
what it
be
was. It might have been 4 and 3,
1:31.
but 3 of the games that he lost
And
could
30
have very
seconds.
easily been won.
Oh, we'll see what Dallas does. Leading 7-0, first and 10 on their own
Good afternoon.
23-yard
At the tone,
line.
the time will be 1:31.
Newhouse and Preston Pearson.
And 40 seconds.
Richards right. Drew Pearson left. Dupree
Good
comes that
afternoon. At
side
the tone,
too.
the time will be
Staubach under a
1:31.
heavy rush. Gets it deep.
And
No
50
good.
seconds.
Intended for Drew Pearson. And going down there with him was Bryant, but
Good
Pearson
afternoon.
had a
At the
good
tone,
couple
the
of
time
strides
will
on
be
him.
1:32.
Absolutely a gorgeous move by Drew Pearson that time. Boy, he's a capable receiver. That guy right there, he's your money player.
I can certainly
Good afternoon. At
understand
the tone,
why
the time will be
Staubach overthrew
1:32.
a receiver in the open, because
And
the
10
Giants
seconds.
really put some pressure on him, and he was barely able to see over the charging
Good afternoon.
4.
At the
And
tone, the
Jeter
time will
or
be
Martin, they're each 6'4".
1:32.
Mendenhall is only
And 20
6'1". He's
seconds.
a small man up front. Archer is 6'4", and Gregory 6'5". So he was
Good
throwing
afternoon.
over the
At the
Rocky
tone, the
Mountains
time
that
will
time.
be 1:32.
Yes, sir. What a competitor he is, though. Now, keep in mind, he
And
is
30
playing hurt,
seconds.
and a lot of quarterbacks would not be playing with the pain he's in.
Second and 10 on the Dallas
Good
23.
afternoon. At the tone, the time will be 1:32.
Johnson is left, Pearson right.
And 40
Here
seconds.
comes Preston Pearson. See you later.
Good afternoon. At
Carson,
the tone,
number
the time will
53,
be
the middle
1:32.
linebacker. And down at the bottom
And
was number
50 seconds.
77, Troy Archer.
With the exception of Jack Gregory on that
Good
defensive
afternoon.
line
At
for the
the tone,
Giants,
the
you've got a
time
lot
will
of
be
youth and some pretty good
1:33.
promising prospects.
Exactly.
Troy Archer, there's Gregory, number 81 right there. And Harry Carson, who they think
Good
is really going to be an
afternoon.
outstanding
At the tone, the time
linebacker in a
will be
couple of years. Just
1:33.
experience.
The biggest problem with the Giant
And 10
defense
seconds.
is the Giant offense. They just have to play too much.
That's right. That is right.
Good
Third and
afternoon.
10
At the
from the
tone, the
Dallas
time will be
23, and boy, they string out the
1:33.
left side.
And 20 seconds.
Staubach to
Good
Pearson,
afternoon. At the
knocked
tone, the time will be
down by Van Pelt
1:33.
at the 35-yard
And 30
line. That'll be
seconds.
enough for a first down.
And what you just saw was the reason that he's in the lineup instead of Tony Dorsett.
Good
He
afternoon.
is
At the
an excellent
tone, the
receiver, as
time will
everybody's
be
told you time and time again. But
1:33.
Preston Pearson coming out of the
And 40
backfield is
seconds.
about as good as any you want to see. Watch Roger from the shotgun. And look at the
Good
catch.
afternoon.
The
At the
sure
tone,
hands,
the
and he
time
runs
will
such an
be
intelligent route. You'll find
1:33.
the open area.
And 50
Atta
seconds.
boy, Preston. Atta boy.
Yeah, he split the strong safety Clyde Powers
Good
and Brad
afternoon.
Van
At the
Pelt
tone,
on
the
the
time
left
will be
side, the strong side
1:34.
linebacker. So it's first and 10
Exactly.
on the Dallas 35.
Good afternoon. At the tone,
Robert
the time
Newhouse
will be
trying to go around
1:34.
Gregory, and while he
And
was
10
doing that,
seconds.
Archer, number 77, tripped him up from behind.
Last year's number 1
Good
draft choice
afternoon.
there.
At the tone,
Troy
the
Archer.
time will be
Got a nice future ahead of
1:34.
him.
And 20
Staubach,
seconds.
as you see, 11-1 against the Giants. But it is truly remarkable now in
Good
this day and
afternoon. At
age
the tone,
of
the
such
time will be
complicated defenses
1:34.
that he has put the ball up
And
in the air
30 seconds.
192 times and only 1 interception.
That is incredible. It really
Good afternoon. At the tone, the time will
Dallas
be
has beaten the Giants
1:34.
6 straight, 8 of
And
their
40
last
seconds.
9. Second and 12 from the 33 of Dallas.
Good afternoon. At the tone, the time will be 1:34.
Robert Newhouse on a
And
slant.
50 seconds.
You want to see a difficult tackle if we can run that play. Did you ever try to tackle a guy?
Good afternoon at the Tone. The time will be 1:35.
And he's on your back. Just take a look.
Exactly.
Watch a twisted arm by number 64, John Mendenhall. Watch him try to catch him from behind.
The time will be 1:35.
Now watch.
His job done.
And 10 seconds.
That's a low center of gravity.
Where are you?
I got to backhand you.
I got to find you somewhere. That's like looking for your
Tone.
shoes in the bottom of the closet.
Bobby Newhouse having one of his best years. He has come on for him.
3rd and 8 from the Dallas 37.
Good afternoon at the Tone. The time will be 1:35.
And another little shotgun.
And 30 seconds. Good afternoon at the Tone. The time will be 1:35.
Hit him right on the number.
Whoa, you don't expect that at all. Do not expect that at all. Oh, he feels bad about it.
Good afternoon at the Tone. The time will be 1:35. And 50
One of
seconds.
the many free agents the Dallas Cowboys have come up with in the years gone by. Went to the Pro Bowl last year.
Good afternoon at the Tone. The time will be 1:36.
Money in the bank receiver. Anytime he gets his hands on it, if he drops one, something's wrong with the ball.
Good afternoon at the Tone. The time will be 1:36.
Looks like he had his eyes on it, too. I think he
And
just
10
got in on his shoulder pads and bounced off.
All right, Danny White is punting. Beleaguered Bob Hammond on his 27. Nice slide into second base.
36.
And he gets to the 31.
And 20 seconds.
So we
Good
have
afternoon
run out
at
of
the Tone. The time
and the
will be
first quarter is history.
1:36.
The Dallas Cowboys
And 30
capitalizing on a giant fumble, leading 7-0.
Good afternoon at the Tone. The time will be 1:36.
Introducing a new 1978 Ford
And 40
Granada,
seconds.
the ESS. Can you tell it from this impressive $20,000 Mercedes 280 SE?
Good afternoon
Granada.
at the Tone. The time will be
Mercedes.
1:36.
Granada.
And 50
Mercedes.
seconds.
Granada. Mercedes. The new Ford Granada ESS.
Good
See how
afternoon at
close
the
you
Tone.
can
The
come to
time
the
will
look
be
of a $20,000
1:37.
Mercedes at the price
Exactly.
of a Granada. When America needs a better idea, Ford puts it on
Good
wheels.
afternoon at the Tone. The time will be 1:37.
To the top of the key. Shoot.
And 10 seconds.
The pitch. A swing and a miss. Strike 3.
Ever want to watch
Good
two things that
afternoon
are on
at
at
the
the
Tone.
same
The time will be
Well, now you can,
1:37.
because Sony's revolutionary
20
Betamax deck,
seconds.
which hooks up to any TV set, can actually videotape something off one channel while you're watching another
afternoon at the
channel.
Tone. The time
With
will be
Sony's Betamax, you won't miss a
1:37.
thing.
And 30 seconds.
You've just seen a triple play.
No, I didn't.
You don't see those.
Good afternoon at the Tone. The time will be 1:37.
Our house?
And 40
Except for the
seconds.
insurance and closing.
Oh, well, what insurance company?
Ah, they're all the same.
All states different.
Good afternoon at the Tone. The time will be
We give a 10% discount
1:37.
for newer homes.
And 50
It's a
seconds.
10% discount
Now 10% off our rate.
on basic homeowners insurance for houses 5
Good
years old or
afternoon at
less.
the Tone. The time
All
will be
states different, all right.
1:38.
Good hand.
Exactly.
When it takes being different to be better, Allstate will do it.
That's a promise from us.
Good afternoon
hands,
at the Tone. The time will be 1:38.
1st and 10.
And
The
10
Giants
seconds.
putting it in play on their own 31-yard line. Philadelphia leading New Orleans 7-0
Good
in the
afternoon
second
at the
quarter.
Tone.
A
The time
one-yard
will
run
be
by Ron Jaworski.
1:38. And 20
Gordon
seconds.
Bell is in there with Zonka. Pisarcik grabbed by Harvey Martin and decked by
Good
Randy
afternoon at
White.
the Tone. The time
And a
will be
flag on the play.
1:38. And 30 seconds.
Martin got him, and White lowered the boom, and let's see how they rule it.
Good afternoon at the Tone. The time will be 1:38.
Personal
40
foul
seconds.
against Dallas.
Oh, the #1 defensive team in football, and Harvey Martin's
Good
a good reason
afternoon at
for
the
it, too.
Tone. The time
One
will
of the
be
many reasons,
1:38.
Martin has
And 50
12
seconds.
sacks this year.
And that's 29 for the Cowboys on the season. There you see Martin completely
Good afternoon at the Tone. The time will be 1:39.
Randy White.
54,
Exactly.
personal foul, defense, first down.
So Randy White on that late hit.
Good
is
afternoon at
charged
the
with
Tone. The
personal
time will
foul.
be
That moves the ball to the Giant
1:39.
39, 1st and 10.
And 10
Didn't look that
seconds.
late to be. What'd you think?
It looked like he was almost spearing him.
Good afternoon at the Tone. The time will be
Robinson right,
1:39.
Perkins left.
And 20 seconds.
Gordon Bell with Larry Zonka behind Pisarcik. Gordon Bell,
Good
and he has
afternoon at the
Mullen
Tone.
in
The
front of
time will
him.
be 1:39.
And a little guy turns the corner to the
30 seconds.
45. He just outran Mullen, number 73, who was leading the way.
Yes, sir. They were stringing it out that
Good
time.
afternoon
They had
at
two
the Tone.
tall
The
Jones
time will be
strung it out to the sideline. They never
1:39.
could get it turned upfield.
And
Let's watch
40
it.
seconds.
Gordon Bell got the good speed, huh?
Good afternoon at the Tone. The time will be 1:39.
Henderson
And
Boy,
50
he's got
seconds.
speed to burn. What a great athlete he is.
The first
Good
period
afternoon,
score,
at the tone.
Buffalo
The time will
14,
be
New
1,
England nothing.
40.
5:47 left to go. A pass
Exactly.
Ferguson to Gant and a 2-yard run by Jimmy Braxton. 2nd and 4 from the 46.
Good afternoon, at the tone. The time will be 1:40.
Zonka.
And 10 seconds.
And he has his first down, and he was really churning.
We're back to our game plan now,
Good
Ben.
afternoon, at the
Run
tone. The
straight at
time
him.
will be 1:40.
Your chances are
And
just as
20
good.
seconds.
Take another look at Larry Zonka, Hawk.
Zonka looking a little better than he has in
Good
previous
afternoon,
games.
at the tone. The time will
Best
be
I've seen him look this year.
1:40.
As you mentioned, he hasn't carried the
And
ball
30
a whole lot this
seconds.
year. Look at that. Boy, what a battering ram. I'm surprised
Good
he's
afternoon,
lasted
at the
this
tone.
long.
The
He
time
just
will
doesn't
be
protect his body at all.
1:40.
Through the years, it's got to take its toll.
And
His
40
best
seconds.
day with the Giants this year, opening day against Washington, he rushed for 62 yards. First and
Good
10
afternoon,
at
at
the
the
50.
tone. The time will be
Slot.
1:40.
Dale and Zonka back up
And
to
50
Sargent,
seconds.
and Joe wants time. So the rookie quarterback out of New Mexico State, although
afternoon,
as a
at the
rookie,
tone.
he
The
did
time
spend
will
3
be
years in the Canadian Football
1:41.
League, so he's not exactly wet
Exactly.
behind the ears. He'll huddle with John McVay. 14 to go in the second quarter.
Good
Dallas
afternoon,
leading
at the tone. The
Giants
time will be
7-0.
1:41. And 10 seconds. Good afternoon, at the tone. The time will be 1:41.
I dare you to compare anybody's batteries,
And 20
anybody's,
seconds.
with alkaline power cells. And try to beat them for long life. You know what?
Good
You
afternoon,
can't.
at the tone. The time will
When you
be
want long-lasting
1:41.
energy, you can't
And
buy
30
a
seconds.
longer-lasting, all-purpose power system than gold, red, and black alkaline power cells from
Good
Everett.
afternoon, at the tone. The time will be
Come on. I
1:41.
dare you.
And 40 seconds.
This drop is too little to cover the head of a match. Yet
Good
this is
afternoon,
enough
at the tone. The
adhesive,
time will
super
be
strong, super
1:41.
fast to lift 2.5
And
tons.
50 seconds.
It's Duro Super Glue. A drop will do to mend jewelry
Good afternoon, at the
ceramics,
tone. The time will be
rubber,
1:42.
and glass in only 10 seconds. It truly is super strong and super fast. Super Glue.
Good
A drop
afternoon,
will
at the
do.
tone. The time will
Super
be
Glue. A
1:42.
product of Loctite
And
technology.
10 seconds.
The Giants 1st and 10 from midfield. Joe Pisarcik having
Good
called
afternoon, at
time
the tone.
after
The
huddling
time will
with
be
John McVay,
1:42.
and he brings him out in a slot left.
And 20
Robinson
seconds.
inside Perkins. Dixon is the tight end on the right side, and you have Bell and Zonka.
Good afternoon, at the tone. The time will be 1:42. And 30
Play
seconds.
action fake to Zonka, pass to Bell. He's out of bounds, chased by Brunig, and
Good
they spot
afternoon,
the
at the
ball
tone. The time will
just
be
shy of the Dallas
1:42.
45-yard line.
And 40 seconds.
Well, we told you the other New York ball club, the New York Jets, had scored. Let's take another look at this
Good
Giant
afternoon,
club.
at the
They're doing
tone. The
exactly
time will
like
be
Sargent is doing exactly what he's
1:42.
got to do against Dallas. Take
And
advantage
50
of the play
seconds.
action passes, hit the quick stuff, because they're not going to have time to throw on a Dallas defense. That defense
Good
in front
afternoon,
four
at
for
the
them, they
tone. The
just put
time
too
will
much
be
pressure. Too much.
1:43. Exactly.
So 2nd and 6 from the
Good
46.
afternoon, at the tone. The time will be 1:43. And 10 seconds.
Second man, Gordon Bell, grabbed from behind by Charlie Waters
Good
and dropped to
afternoon,
the
at the tone. The
45-yard
time will be
line.
1:43.
Charlie Waters is a beautiful study.
And 20 seconds.
That Cowboy organization has been so good. They believe in developing athletes as well as drafting them. And
Good
finding them and
afternoon,
all
at
that.
the
He's
tone.
a
The
classic
time will be
example. He was a run-of-the-mill
1:43.
cornerback for several years. But
And
if you're a
30
good
seconds.
football player, they'll eventually, a good coach will find a place to play you. Charlie Waters moved over to safety and is
Good
an all-pro
afternoon, at the
player.
tone.
He
The time
finally
will
made
be
his first Pro Bowl
1:43.
last year. Miami
40
on a
seconds.
20-yard pass, greasy to Durrell Harris, leading the Jets 7-3 in the second quarter.
Good afternoon, at the tone. The
3rd
time
and
will
4
be
from the
1:43.
45-yard line of Dallas.
And 50 seconds.
Both backs are out. The heat is on.
Good
And
afternoon, at the
Pisarcik
tone. The
is
time will be
dragged down, and the first
1:44.
man to get him was number
Exactly.
72, Too Tall Jones, but there's a flag on the play.
And the blitz was on. Cliff Harris was
Good
coming.
afternoon, at the
Offside
tone. The
Dallas,
time will be
fourth time they've been
1:44.
offside so far
And 10
today.
seconds.
Lack of concentration.
One thing, they are certainly not lackadaisical
Good
to be
afternoon, at the
offside
tone.
that
The
many
time will
times.
be
We're being
1:44.
good.
And
There
20
you see it.
seconds.
You saw the offsides there. Randy White there. There's Cliff Harris blitzing there.
Good
Number 30
afternoon,
is
at the
43.
tone. The time will be 1:44.
Dallas,
And
left
30
tackle
seconds.
defense, offside, first down.
So the Dallas Cowboys slowed up a little bit. They've been penalized for 35 yards now.
And 40 seconds.
That kept the first Giant drive alive, but then it petered out on a 50-yard field goal attempt.
Good afternoon,
now it is first and 10 from the Dallas 40-yard line, thanks to that foul.
And 50 seconds.
Perkins right and Robinson left. Hammond back in there with Zonka.
The time will be 1:45.
Harvey Martin runs behind him, and that gives Randy White a chance to take him down at the 40.
Good afternoon,
Randy White,
the time will be 1:45.
3 years ago for the Cowboys. Coming on, he's played all sorts of the linebacker positions, the middle and the outside. They put him back to where he played at University of Maryland.
Good afternoon at the Tone. The time will be 1:45.
He's going to get better and better and better.
Down in Texas, they call White the Manster, half man and half monster. And along with Harvey Martin, that is a formidable duo.
The time will be 1:45. And
switching Buffalo and New England now. Buffalo leading New England 14-7 on a 93-yard kickoff return by Ray Clyburn. How do you do?
45.
Second and 10, and Pisarcik is buried by Tom Henderson. Oh, did he give him a lick?
And when Tom Henderson does something, he does it with a flair.
45.
Graciously, I've seen him pull some remarkable plays. Running kickoff return back for a touchdown his rookie season.
Good afternoon at the Tone. The time will be 1:46.
This year and runs 70-some yards with it. Excellent speed, a great athlete.
Henderson, number 56, is 6'2", 220.
Good afternoon at the Tone. The time will be 1:46.
Running the 100 in 9.5.
And
he did the triple jump. He jumped 49 feet, so he is a remarkable
Good afternoon at the Tone. The time will be 1:46.
Dallas Cowboys found it. They can do it when other teams
can. 20
can.
seconds.
3rd and 21, the backs are split. It's a passing formation, slot right.
Good afternoon at the Tone. The time will be 1:46.
And it is deflected and falls harmlessly. It might have hit Too Tall Jones. When you have a guy 6'9", it figures it might hit.
Good
Had a little game on that time
where
Bill Gregory, who just come into the ball game, took the outside rush and let Too Tall inside. And he will block up a lot of vision when he takes that inside rush.
Remember, we mentioned the
Good afternoon at the Tone. The time will be 1:46.
In 3 games, only 3 sacks.
And
4 losses, 24 sacks. And Pisarcik now has taken a couple of very bad sacks.
Good afternoon at the Tone. The time will be 1:47.
Butch Johnson all alone on the Dallas 15. Dave Jennings ready to drive it out of there from his 40-yard line.
The time will be 1:47.
They were coming, but he got it away. Johnson, a fair catch, and lets the ball bounce, and it's inside the 10.
Good afternoon at the Tone. The time will be 1:47.
Jennings has done it again.
And 20 seconds.
That's the 5th time he has kicked inside the 20. However, there are 2 flags on the play.
At the Tone. The time will be 1:47.
And I believe the penalty will be an illegal man downfield under the kick.
Good afternoon at the Tone. The time will be 1:47.
That penalty's going to go against Dallas.
And 40 seconds.
Defense offside.
Good afternoon at the Tone. The time will be 1:47.
Okay.
And 50
there appeared to be a preliminary signal from the sideline. We'll wipe that away.
Good afternoon
at
the Tone. The time will be 1:48.
The second quarter, 7-0 Dallas.
Exactly. Good afternoon at the Tone. The time will be 1:48.
This year, when you step out on the town, don't just drive. Take off in the 1978 Thunderbird with its distinctive look
Good
and
afternoon
size.
at the Tone.
Its
The time will be
Thunderbird quality and comfort.
1:48.
And it comes at a down-to-earth price of $58.08 with automatic transmission, power steering, power brakes,
Good afternoon
and
at the
more.
Tone. The time
Flight
will be
test the 1978 Thunderbird. When America needs a better idea, Ford puts it on wheels.
Good afternoon at the Tone. The time will be 1:48.
Where you been?
And
It wasn't
40
easy
seconds.
getting tickets for this game.
Hey, Bob. Teddy, I know exactly what I want. I want the biggest
Good
steak
afternoon
you've
at the
got.
Tone. The time will be
Brown.
1:48.
Steak and low and brown.
And 50 seconds.
You're a genius.
When you want the taste of a truly great beer, tonight,
Good afternoon
let
at
it
the
be
Tone. The time will be 1:49.
Here's to the chef. Here's to the
Exactly. Good afternoon at the Tone. The time will be 1:49.
On our own, the lights go out and Julia gets turned on by a tall, dark stranger. On our own tonight, following Rhoda.
Good afternoon at the Tone. The time will be 1:49.
A fine punt by Dave Jennings, number 13, and Dallas now takes over. 1st and 10 on their own 5-yard line. And Tony Dorsett
Good afternoon at the
is
Tone.
in there
The
with
time will be
Newhouse, and it's Newhouse.
1:49.
Brian Kelly, among others, in that fired-up Giant forward wall, stacking Newhouse up.
Both the safeties
Good
came in there
afternoon
late
at the Tone. The time will be 1:49.
Next Sunday, right here on CBS, these are the NFL regionals. Detroit versus Atlanta, the New York Giants and Tampa Bay.
Good afternoon
Washington
at the
versus
Tone. The time will be 1:49.
Los Angeles and Green Bay. And San Francisco versus New Orleans. Next Sunday, right here on CBS Sports.
Good afternoon at the Tone. The time will be 1:50.
Breaking the huddle. The ball is moved out to the 8-yard line. It'll be 2nd and 7, and a whistle for the moment.
Good afternoon at the Tone. The time will be 1:50.
When you said that the Giant defense, there was really nothing wrong with it except that they stay on the field too long, and that's about right. They play good football.
That's really what happened to them against the Cardinals, too.
Good afternoon at the Tone. The time will be 1:50.
Demise of Monday night.
And
2nd and 7 from the 8. Play action fake. Out to Dorsett. Brian Kelly pushed him out of bounds.
The time will be 1:50.
So Tony Dorsett handling the reception.
And
by the
30
way,
seconds.
he has rushed for 5 touchdowns this year.
Good afternoon at the Tone. The time will be 1:50.
Leading rusher for the Cowboys so far. Tony had to move the other day.
Good afternoon
right.
at the Tone. The time will be 1:50.
Yeah. Dallas is that kind of town,
and 50 seconds.
Tony's longest against St. Louis, 77 yards, the longest run in the NFC thus far.
1:51. Exactly.
2 tight ends now. Jay Saldy gets in on the action. 3rd and 1 from the 14 of Dallas.
The time will be 1:51.
And that's Johnson in motion to the other side.
And 10 seconds.
Stanky picks him up. Here comes Dorsett. And a great play by Brian.
Good afternoon at the Tone. The time will be 1:51.
Number 55. What a play.
You tell
and 20
it.
seconds.
He certainly did. He played well that time.
Oh.
Good afternoon at the Tone. The time will be 1:51.
The Giants in tackles last year.
And 30
He played
seconds.
football, rugby, and wrestling, and he needed the strength of a wrestler. He brought Dorsett down with one hand.
Do your homework, Vince. Come on, tell me some more about it.
And 40 seconds.
Here's Bobby Hammond waiting for the punt. Danny White will have to get it out from the end zone.
Good afternoon at the Tone. The time will be 1:51.
Standing on the Dallas 45-yard line. 7-0 Dallas. 10:40 to go in the second quarter.
Good
and a flag on the play. Too much time.
1:52. Exactly.
The 30-second clock had run out. And look at that look of disgust on Danny White's face.
Good afternoon at the Tone. The time will be 1:52.
Let me ask you something. Why in the world, in a natural punt formation, could that play take more than 30 seconds?
Oh, the New York Giants put 10 men on the line of scrimmage that time. I think it was some confusion as a blocking assignment. It would be my
20 seconds.
Because you don't expect a team that's coached as well as Tom Landry's Dallas Cowboys
Good
to do something
afternoon at
like
the Tone.
that.
The time will be 1:52.
Well, it now moves Danny White to where his heels are almost on the back line. Hammond has moved to the Dallas 40.
Good afternoon at the Tone. The time will be 1:52.
Hammond will field it at the 37.
And 40 seconds.
And Benny Barnes, the first man to grab him, number 31. And then some other
Good
Cowboys
afternoon
came
at the
along
Tone.
to
The time will be 1:52.
Boy, that Barnes is good on the
And
punting
50
team.
seconds.
It's nice to talk about some of the special team players because they rarely get mentioned. Guys who have to go out there. But on this broadcast, for the men who spent 10 years on special teams, this is the time to spotlight them.
Yes,
Hawk.
sir. Got to give them
Good
something.
afternoon at the Tone. The time will be 1:53.
About a third of the game in special
And 10
teams yards.
seconds.
John McVay has good field position for the first time. It's on the Dallas 37.
Good
First and
afternoon at the
10.
Tone. Time will be
Robinson slot left
1:53.
inside Perkins.
And 20 seconds.
Zonka straight ahead for a yard or two.
Good afternoon
Boy,
at the
that's
Tone.
a
The
tough
time will
buy.
be
You get a couple up the middle.
1:53. And
There
30
again, they're trying
seconds.
to work Gordon Gervell and Doug Van Horn, trying to work on Randy White and Harvey Martin.
Good afternoon at the Tone. The time will be 1:53.
You've got to keep things simple against the Cowboys, though. You're not
And
going to
40
fool them. They're
seconds.
too well prepared. Through the years, they've just been a great organization, right down to the coach, the front office, anyway.
Good afternoon at the Tone. The time will be 1:53.
Al Dixon, the tight end, number 84, brings
And
in a
50
play from the
seconds.
bench, and Gary Shirk goes out.
Good
Ball on
afternoon
the
at the
Dallas
Tone. The time will be
34-yard line, 2nd and
1:54.
7. Perkins left,
Exactly.
and Robinson is on a wing right, outside Dixon.
Good
Play
afternoon
action
at the
fake
Tone.
to
The time
Hammond,
will be
and down goes
1:54.
Pisarcik.
And 10 seconds.
Putting a little bit slippery on that artificial turf there.
In case you joined us a little late,
Good
we should
afternoon
point
at
out
the
we
Tone.
had a
The time
light
will be
rain a few minutes before the
1:54.
game started. So
And
things
20
like this will
seconds.
happen. We saw Hammond go into a slide in receiving a punt, and you saw Pisarcik
Good
hit the deck.
afternoon at the Tone. The time will
I
be
still can't buy that artificial
1:54.
turf.
just came by.
And 30 seconds.
Let's look at it again. Patterson Plank Road Joe.
Good afternoon at the Tone. The time will be 1:54.
There he is, slipping right there. He came to training camp weighing 245 pounds, a free agent. He was a bouncer down in Florida.
Good afternoon at the Tone. The time will be 1:54.
3rd and 14 from the 41.
And 50 seconds.
And look out, Harvey Martin was way across the line, and Hammond takes the ball inside the 35.
The time will be
Harvey Martin was almost in the Giant backfield before the ball was snapped. Was he ever hungry?
A little quick trap there. Carl Chandler and Doug Van Horn.
Good afternoon at the Tone. The time will be 1:55.
Van Horn.
And 10
seconds. And the hole opens up. Oh, good block there by Gordon Gravel. Boy, that Hammond's quick.
And that
Good
big Tom
afternoon at the
Henderson
Tone. The time will be
off the block. Came back to put him down, and then Randy
and 20
White
seconds.
lay on top. From the 34-yard line of Dallas, 4th and 7, Danello will try a 52-yard field goal. And this one is good! Oh, Danello!
Good afternoon at the Tone. The time will be 1:55.
A 52-yard field
and 40
goal.
seconds.
And they're up in arms in New Jersey. Dallas 7, the
Good
Giants
afternoon
3.
at the Tone. The time will be 1:55. And 50 seconds.
It's hard to tell the difference between J.C. Penney plain pockets jeans and the world's best-selling jeans. After all, they're both made of tough, heavy denim with good looks and great styling. In fact, you probably couldn't tell the difference at all unless you noticed the fancy stitching on the back of those famous jeans or the money you saved on plain pockets. J.C. Penney plain pockets. The big difference between us and them is the pocket and the price.
And 20 seconds.
Wherever you may roam, you'll find our name is
Good afternoon at the Tone. The time will be 1:56. 30 seconds.
When things are getting thick and you want to start real quick.
Good afternoon at the Tone. The time will be 1:56. And 40 seconds.
They've got the stuff. When the starting's tough, you can trust the Delco.
Good afternoon at the Tone. The time will be 1:56. And 50 seconds.
There you have it, 4 plays for 51 yards.
At the Tone. The time will be
by a 51-yard field goal, officially 51 by Joe Danello, who had missed from the 50. So they're not giving him any easy
Good
shots, and he's
afternoon at the Tone. The time will be
1:57. Ready to start it off with 8:33 in the second quarter, 7-3 Dallas, and taking it Larry Brinson in the end zone.
Good afternoon at the Tone. The time will be 1:57.
To the 20. To the 30, and Mallory takes a ride on his back and finally brings him down on the 39-yard line.
I believe he was a free agent this year for the Dallas Cowboys. Had a touchdown.
6 feet, 214 pounds, 22 years old, and look at him go.
Had a touchdown last week for the Cowboys.
Tone. The time will be 1:57.
Showing good speed,
and 40 seconds.
And a feel for hitting that wedge about right. That's a feel, too, brother.
Good afternoon at the Tone. The time will be 1:57.
Butch Johnson threw a good block on Al Dixon to spring him, and there's Mallory taking the ride. Little Mallory is 185.
Good afternoon at the Tone. The time will be 1:58.
Staubach, a quick release, and it is knocked down and almost intercepted. But John Mendenhall has those hands taped up.
Good afternoon at the Tone. The time will be 1:58.
Got that left hand up in the air.
He can sure knock him down. John Mendenhall out of Grambling.
Good afternoon at the Tone. The time will be
1:74 year. Then a knee operation and an ankle in 75 that slowed him up. Last year he led the club in tackles with 151.
Good afternoon at the Tone. The time will be 1:58.
He is playing up a storm today. Second and 10 from the Dallas 38. 7-3 Cowboys. That's Pearson.
Good afternoon at the Tone. The time will be 1:58.
And here comes Dorsett. And he banged into Carson, who had his hands full trying to fight off a block. And while fighting off the block,
the time will be
thrown, as you see, by Scott, he was able to stack it up. Herb Scott throwing the block. And a change on the scoreboard. Philadelphia has added 7 more on an 11-yard pass. Jaworski to Big Carmichael. And the Eagles leading New Orleans 14-0.
I think Stram will bring them back, though. That's a slow starting team.
Good afternoon,
they won't quit.
Tone.
You saw that last week when they upset the Rams.
So you're right. From the Dallas 43, you have 3rd and 6. And the shotgun is loaded up, and Roger will
time will be 1:59. And 20 seconds.
Broken up by Stanky. Jim Stanky. Oh, what a great
Good afternoon at the Tone. The time will be 1:59. And 30
He's
seconds.
an interesting guy. Take another look at him.
Now keep in mind you've got Tony Dorsett
Good
in open
afternoon at
field.
the Tone. The time will be 1:59.
Fitzgerald and Rafferty
And 40
there.
seconds.
Preston Pearson getting his block. And look at this. There's nothing but daylight.
Good afternoon at the Tone. The time will be 1:59.
Great defensive play.
And 50
Tony
seconds.
Dorsett taken right out of that catch by Jim Stanky. And now Danny White.
Good afternoon at the Tone. The time will be 2 o'clock.
33. And Bob
Exactly.
Hammond retreating and fair catching, and that means the ball will hit and will not go in the end zone.
Good afternoon at the Tone. The time will be 2
Dallas.
o'clock.
And it would appear to
And
be
10
inside
seconds.
the Giant 10-yard line.
Good afternoon at the Tone. The time will be
Next
2
Saturday,
o'clock.
4:30 p.m. Eastern, the CBS
And 20
Sports
seconds.
Spectacular, the Dixie 500, the 18th annual Dixie 500 from Atlanta. Cale
Good
Yarborough,
afternoon
Richard
at the
Petty,
Tone. The time
among
will be
others.
2
Then the Pendleton
o'clock.
Roundup Rodeo from
And
Pendleton,
30
Oregon.
seconds.
Dog, I
And
like
finally, the world's strongest men. Contestants will
Good
pull a
afternoon at the
passenger
Tone. The
train
time will
weighing
be 2
9,200
o'clock.
pounds, attached by
And
a
40
harness
seconds.
over a 40-yard. Why wouldn't they go first class and buy a ticket?
Get out of town.
Good afternoon at the Tone. The time will be 2 o'clock.
First and 10 for the
And
Giants
50
on their own
seconds.
8-yard line.
Good afternoon at the Tone. The time will be 2:01.
Zonka just
Exactly.
determined to get yardage. That's about the only way you can get any running up the middle like that.
Would you describe that as
Good
barreling
afternoon at the
through?
Tone. The time will be 2:01.
Each time I see Zonka with
And 10
little Bob
seconds.
Hammond blocking for him, you immediately miss, and not to knock Hammond except for size.
Good
No way. Look, Tom is ready for the dance.
Good afternoon at the Tone.
So
The
is
time will be
Efren Herrera.
3. Exactly.
Herrera kicking off for Dallas. 21-3 Cowboys. 6:39.
Good
to go in
afternoon
the
at the
third
Tone. The
quarter.
time will be 3.
And Herrera goes
And 10
to
seconds.
Beasley Reese on the 7-yard line.
Good afternoon
Not
at the
across
Tone.
the
The time will be
25.
3.
So the
And 20
Giants will
seconds.
take over and put it in play. And of course, we were talking about it. There's the Dallas drive, 7
Good
plays.
afternoon at
It's
the
not
Tone. The
mentioned,
time
but a
will be 3.
39-yard pass interference play.
And
Chopped
30
off 39
seconds.
of those 91 yards and set it up for Staubach to have Dorsett go
Good
in
afternoon
from the
at the
1-yard
Tone. The
line.
time will
So
be
the Giants
3.
trying to answer back.
And that Cliff Harris interception
And 40
looms more
seconds.
and more prominent, doesn't it?
If the Giants had somehow scored, this would be a totally different
Good afternoon
ballgame.
at the Tone.
And
The time will be
Giants now
3.
down by 18 and sinking slowly.
And 50
Need a
seconds.
drive. Here comes Watkins.
Good afternoon at the Tone. The time will be
Pretty
3.
good play to
4.
move D.D. Lewis wide.
Exactly.
Van Horn and Mullen trying to open up that side, and they open it wide enough
Good
for Watkins
afternoon
to
at the
pick
Tone.
up.
The time will be 3. 4.
Meanwhile,
And
down
10
in
seconds.
Georgia, the San Francisco 49ers have opened the gap 10-0, and of course Atlanta
Good
keeps you
afternoon at
low,
the
but
Tone.
they
The
have
time
trouble
will be
getting on the
3,
scoreboard,
4.
and 10 is a lot for them to make up.
And 20 seconds.
Bartkowski's playing down there for the Falcons, too.
The ball on the 35-yard line.
Good
of the
afternoon at the Tone. The time will be 3.
Second and
4.
1.
And 30 seconds.
Watkins. Well, it depends on his forward motion as to where
Good
they spot the
afternoon
ball
at the Tone.
first
The
down.
time will be 3.
The young lady
4.
who has lost her curl in the
And
light
40
rain
seconds.
that we had earlier. The game
Good
has
afternoon at the
changed.
Tone. The time
flavor,
will be
the
3.
complexion of it.
4.
The first half, it would appear to be
And
an
50
emotional
seconds.
Giant ball club and a somewhat flat Dallas team, but you get the feeling now that
Good
Dallas is
afternoon
beginning
at
to
the
assert
Tone. The
itself.
time will be 3.
Cincinnati
5.
leading Cleveland by 3
Exactly.
in the third quarter, 10-7. First and 10 from the 38.
Good afternoon at the Tone. The time will be 3. 5.
Nowhere.
And 10 seconds.
Hammond and Mikolajczyk were trying to throw a block on the right side on Too Tall
Good
Jones.
afternoon at the
And
Tone.
he
The
slowed
time will
them
be
up
3.
so well that
5.
Randy White had an easy shot
And
to bring
20
the carrier
seconds.
down.
Mikolajczyk, number 62. The New York Giants, he's a big guy.
Good afternoon at the Tone. The time will be 3. 5.
Southman under John McVay.
And 30 seconds.
Wrestles in the offseason. You realize what he did in his last one?
Good afternoon at the Tone. The time will be 3. 5.
Remember Gas
And
House?
40 seconds.
Who'll
Gas.
ever forget old Gas House?
Second and 9 from the 38.
Good afternoon at the Tone. The time will be 3. 5.
Watkins
And 50
lays in
seconds.
a good block to give Pasarcik time. And he's got his man. And Marshall
Good afternoon. At the tone, the time will be 3, 6.
Shame on you.
Exactly.
That's the hardest pass you're going to have to catch, though, because he had to go back over his shoulder for it.
Good afternoon. At the tone, the time will be 3, 6.
Out of Cameron State.
And 10 seconds.
There's a great block laid in there. It just, I believe it was Randy White.
Good afternoon. At the tone, the time will be 3,
He went
6.
flying through the air, and that gave
And 20
Pisarcik a
seconds.
chance to wind up.
He put it right there on the money, though. Ed Marshall.
Good afternoon. At the tone, the time will be 3, 6.
Meanwhile, like a
And
pitcher
30
trying to keep
seconds.
his arm warm, Dave Jennings trying to keep his leg warm on the sidelines, ready to go in and
Good
punt.
afternoon. At the
And
tone,
he
the time
if
will
they
be
don't
3,
convert this play.
6.
3rd and 9.
And
from the
40
38.
seconds.
Watkins and Hammond.
Good afternoon. At the tone, the time will be 3, 6.
Pisarcik gonna keep it.
And 50 seconds.
And out he goes, and he didn't have a prayer.
Good afternoon. At the tone, the time will be 3, 7.
By the way, and we had seen him
Exactly.
injured earlier, Mike Hegman is all right. He was in on that play, number 58.
Good afternoon. At the tone, the time will be 3, 7.
So Joe Pisarcik
And 10
came
seconds.
within inches of completing what appeared to be a go-for-broke touchdown pass to Ed
Good
Marshall.
afternoon. At the tone, the time will be
Thoroughly
3,
frustrated, and Dave Jennings
7.
will come in to punt.
And 20 seconds.
Butch Johnson standing back on his 15-yard line.
Good afternoon. At the tone, the time will be 3, 7.
Jennings hanging
And 30
it.
seconds.
Johnson from the 15. Watkins chasing him, slows
Good
him up.
afternoon.
And the other
At the
Blues
tone, the
come up
time
to
will
get
be
him. It was
3,
Larry Watkins
7.
down under there to tie
And
up
40
Johnson.
seconds.
We have 4 minutes and 12 seconds left to go in the third quarter.
Good
the Dallas
afternoon. At
Cowboys,
the tone, the time will
21,
be 3,
and the New York
7.
Giants, 3.
And 50 seconds.
It took
Good
it
afternoon.
all.
At the tone, the time will be 3, 8.
Bitter cold.
Exactly.
120 degrees. 5 dead
Good afternoon. At
batteries.
the tone, the time will be
Nearly
3,
4
8.
hours with the lights on.
And 10 seconds.
3 months on a frozen lake. And now it's maintenance free.
Good afternoon.
The
At the
diehard
tone, the time will be
sold
3,
only
8. And 20 seconds.
In stage 1 of my life,
Good
I couldn't
afternoon. At the
stand
tone,
dull
the time will
wheels.
be 3,
I'm the
8.
same in stage 2 with my
And
new
30
78
seconds.
Ford LTD2, the trimmer sportier LTD at a trimmer price.
Good afternoon. At the tone, the time will be 3, 8.
You're a sporty guy who appreciates
And
the
40
finer
seconds.
things in life. Welcome to stage 2.
Isn't it you in an LTD2?
Good afternoon. At the tone, the time will be 3, 8.
Welcome
And
to
50 seconds.
LTD2.
A better idea from Ford.
Good afternoon. At the
Dallas
tone,
Cowboys
the time will be
leading
3,
the Giants
9.
21-3, and Roger Staubach
Exactly.
playing hurt and playing all the way so far. First and
Good
10 from the
afternoon. At the
Dallas
tone, the
27.
time will
Here
be
comes
3,
Dorsett.
9.
Grab from behind, and he
seconds.
got away from Beasley Reese. Van Pelt and Mendenhall finally bring him down. Flag on
Good
the
afternoon.
play.
At the tone, the time will be 3, 9. And 20 seconds.
There'll be a penalty against,
Good
I
afternoon.
believe,
At the tone, the
Andy
time will be
Selfridge.
3, 9.
57. No,
And
it's
30
a clip
seconds.
against Dallas.
Good afternoon. At the tone, the time will be 3, 9. And 40 seconds.
I guess it was 67. I thought he said 50. It would be Pat Donovan, 67.
Good afternoon. At the
Evidently
tone, the time
throwing
will
the
be
clip.
3,
I didn't get
9.
any reports on the
And
condition of
50
Rayfield
seconds.
Wright. They're all pro tackle. It has been out.
Personal foul, clipping, number
Good afternoon. At the
67.
tone, the time will be 3, 10.
Pat Donovan, though, stepped in and
Exactly.
he's really done a good job for the Cowboys. And in fact, I've talked to some scouts earlier today, and they said that he might be a
Good
better
afternoon.
football
At the
player
tone,
than
the
Rayfield
time will
Wright.
be
And at
3,
this early stage,
10.
that's kind of unusual because Rayfield is a
And
horse.
10
Yes,
seconds.
it's quite a compliment. First and 25.
Good
Dallas
afternoon.
hemmed
At the
in a
tone,
bit.
the time will
They
be
have
3,
not had
10.
good field position too often.
And
It
20
seems like
seconds.
most of the time they have been down there when they start.
Counts. Second down.
Good afternoon. At the
A
tone, the
reminder
time will be
that
3,
the down
10.
counts flip the card.
And 30 seconds.
Now Brian Kelly comes over to make sure.
Good afternoon. At the tone, the time will be 3,
Put out with the
10.
official, wasn't it?
There's John
And 40
McVay.
seconds.
It's lip-wetting time for the Giant coach, down by 18 with 4 minutes
Good
and 4
afternoon. At the
seconds
tone,
to
the
go
time
in the
will be
third quarter.
3, 10. And
They have
50
not
seconds.
flipped the card. Now they have.
Good afternoon. At the tone, the time will be 3:11. Exactly.
You officials don't have to get your act together.
Good afternoon. At the tone, the time will be 3:11. And 10 seconds. Good afternoon. At the tone, the time will be 3:11. And 20 seconds.
Looking through a cage
Good
at one of the
afternoon.
linemen.
At the tone, the time will be 3:11. And 30 seconds.
Occurred during the play. First down.
All right, they had taken
Good afternoon.
the down
At the
away.
tone, the time
then
will be
they came back and said,
3:11.
no, the infraction occurred
And
during
40
the
seconds.
play. The personal foul clip on Donovan. So the down remains first down.
Good afternoon. At the tone, the time will be
from the 13-yard
3:11.
line of Dallas.
And 50 seconds.
Staubach with his back split. But he gives to Newhouse.
Good afternoon.
And he's
At
grabbed
the tone,
by
the time will be
Carson and brought down
3:12.
and Kelly's at the bottom.
Exactly.
That Roger trying to get back on the ground and run some clock now. He's comfortable with the lead. Now he wants to
Good
run the clock a
afternoon.
little
At the
bit.
tone, the time will be 3:12. And 10 seconds.
Well, White Shoes got into the act. A 61-yard run by Billy White Shoes
Good afternoon.
Johnson.
At the
And
tone, the
Houston
time will be
out in front now over
3:12.
Chicago, 17-0
And 20
in the second
seconds.
quarter. I don't have the actual numbers, but let's put it this way: the AFC in
Good
head-to-head
afternoon. At the
competition
tone, the
with
time will be
NFC has
3:12.
eaten them alive.
And 30
dominated.
seconds.
Joe Pisarcik. What is it?
Joe Pisarcik.
Pisarcik.
Good afternoon. At the
Second and
tone, the
20
time will be
time.
3:12.
And it looks like
And 40
delay a
seconds.
game against Dallas. Or it could be, let's see, we have
Good afternoon. At the
3:20
tone, the
to go
time
in
will be
this third quarter. But
3:12.
I think the 30-second clock has
And
run
50
out.
seconds.
Twice today Rogers let the clock run out of him. Well, Roger didn't know the time
No.
it was a punting team. wasn't
Once was the punting.
Good afternoon. At the tone, the time will be 3:13.
it? Oh, not
Exactly.
the 30-second count.
So that would be the 9th or 10th penalty.
Good afternoon. At the tone, the time will be
Check 11. Also,
3:13.
that's the 11th penalty
And 10
against
seconds.
Dallas. So the Giants and the rule book have slowed down the Cowboys a little bit. 11
Good afternoon. At the tone, the time will be
Despite that, it's
3:13.
Cowboys 21, Giants
And 20
3.
seconds.
That's how strong they are. That's right.
Good afternoon. At the tone, the time will be 3:13. And 30 seconds.
Troy Archer has him. Staubach bumped into
Good
Ralph
afternoon. At the
Neely,
tone, the
number
time will be
73. And so
3:13.
Neely, who was trying to
And
find
40
somebody to
seconds.
block, wound up hitting Roger.
Oh, Ralph's been around a long time, 13 years
Good
in
afternoon.
football.
At the
Every year
tone,
he
the
says
time
he'll
will be
last. He stays in there,
3:13.
and he holds his job.
And 50 seconds.
And
that's where he hit
There
him.
you go.
Well, it
That's
wasn't a
Troy
bad
Archer.
block.
Good afternoon. At the tone, the time will be 3:14. Exactly.
I get a kick every time I do a game, and Ralph Neely, you can count on him being caught for holding one time. And
Good afternoon. At the tone, the time will be 3:14.
He was caught and announced who
And
was
10
holding him and gave
seconds.
him a standing ovation there.
Hey, talking about a standing ovation, let's see Landry's
Good
play
afternoon.
here.
At the tone, the time will be 3:14.
The Dallas 3.
And 20
it's
seconds.
shotgun.
Good afternoon. At the tone, the time will be
Can't get him. And the
3:14.
pass intended to Pearson.
And 30
And
seconds.
he trapped the ball. He short-hopped it. So it's incomplete pass. Fourth
Good
and
afternoon. At the
34
tone, the
from
time will be
Dallas 3-yard line,
3:14.
evidently.
And
That's one
40
of the
seconds.
reasons, though, that he has, Staubach has few interceptions. He will throw that ball low.
Good afternoon. At the tone, the time will be
Up on
3:14.
his numbers,
And
he
50
has
seconds.
passed 14 times today. Add that to 191
Good afternoon. At the
previous
tone, the time will be
attempts this year. And
3:15.
Roger, only one
Exactly.
interception.
And you saw a view of the stadium here, and it is a beautiful thing. It's a piece of work.
Good
They were
afternoon. At
applauding
the tone, the time will
The
be
secondary now, you see
3:15.
Reese and Hammond
And 10
and Danny
seconds.
White kicking from the end zone. Giant defense tied up Dallas.
Good afternoon. At the tone, the time will be
White
3:15.
gets it out of there, and it'll be Hammond from the
And 20
35.
seconds.
Look out! Look out! To the 20, 15,
Good afternoon.
10.
At the tone, the
Knocked
time
out
will
of
be
bounds by Danny
3:15.
White, the kicker.
And 30
And he
seconds.
took him out of bounds at about the 8-yard line. Great return
Good
by Bobby
afternoon. At
Hammond.
the
He's
tone,
showing
the
the good
time will be
speed going to the outside that time.
3:15.
That's what he does best, actually.
And 40
After all
seconds.
said and done, he's a pretty good running back and a capable one, but he's a good punt returner and
Good
has
afternoon.
been.
At the
Good
tone, the
speed
time
right
will be
there. All speed.
3:15.
I'll tell
and
you
50
what,
seconds.
Giants could be right back in this thing. Get a score now. do a lot for him on the scoreboard and a lot for
Good
him mentally.
afternoon. At the tone, the time will be
Danny
3,
White, who is a good athlete.
A 35-yard punt, a 28-yard return, and this crowd now has come alive. The Giants in
Good
good field
afternoon. At the
position.
tone, the time will
First
be
and
3,
goal,
16.
and they spot the ball at
And
the
10
7-yard line. Zonka and Hammond are in there.
Good afternoon. At the tone, the time will be 3,
Hammond.
16.
Right behind Van
And
Horn,
20
and he gets inside the 5. So that time, Zonka was blocking on Charlie
Good afternoon.
Waters.
At the tone, the time will
So
be
the big
3,
guy blocking
16.
for the little guy.
You like that
And
combination?
37.
Yeah, I do. There he is, Doug Van Horn, 63. And watch him.
Good afternoon. At the
Turns
tone,
it
the
up
time will be
inside.
3,
Good block out there by
16.
Hammond.
And 40 seconds.
No, not Zonka.
Yeah.
Zonka, sure.
Good
Got it just
afternoon. At
inside
the tone, the time will
5-yard
be
line.
3, 16. And 50 seconds.
Let's take a look at the Giants. You have Perkins wide
Good
left.
afternoon. At the tone, the
Marshall
time will be 3,
to the
17.
right. The running backs are Hammond and
Exactly.
Zonka. Hammond behind Zonka and Van Horn.
Good afternoon. At the tone, the time will be 3, 17. And 10 seconds.
Pretty good play by Benny Barnes to bring him down because he had both Van Horn and
Good afternoon.
Zonka out
At the
in
tone,
front
the
of
time
him.
will be 3,
Somehow Barnes
17.
was able to wedge in there and bring
And
him down.
20 seconds.
Zonka put on a tremendous block that time, but nothing ever opened up inside. He couldn't turn it up.
Good afternoon.
Moorhead
At the
now
tone, the
comes
time
in
will
for
be 3,
Marshall.
17. And 30
Hegman
seconds.
comes in for Cliff Harris.
Good afternoon.
Well,
At the
that's
tone,
the
the
story,
time will
and
be
it's
3,
21-3
17.
Dallas, and the Giants trying
And
to get
40
back in the ball
seconds.
game. Zonka at the fullback
Good
spot
afternoon.
now.
At the tone, the
There he
time will be
goes.
3, 17. And 50 seconds.
Remember, it was first and goal from the 7.
Good afternoon. At the tone, the time will be 3, 18.
They did a good job of keeping him out of the end zone that time. It looked like he was going to go in.
The crowd is hollering, "Go for it!"
Good afternoon. At the tone, the time will be 3,
Canelo is over on the
18.
sidelines, and evidently
And 10 seconds.
Pisarcik, looking at McVay, wants to talk to him, and he'll
Good
use up a
afternoon. At the
timeout.
tone, the time will be 3,
4th
18.
and goal. The ball is just
And 20
inside
seconds.
the Dallas 1-yard line. Dallas leading the Giants 21-3. 45
Good afternoon. At the
seconds
tone, the
left to
time
go
will
in
be
the
3,
third quarter.
18. And 30
Well,
seconds.
while Pisarcik talks over a play and the Dallas defense pulls
Good
itself
afternoon. At
together,
the
we'd
tone,
like
the
to
time
remind
will
you of
be
our
3,
CBS Sports
18.
special Friday night, November
And
the
40
18th,
seconds.
11:30 p.m. Eastern Time, and that'll be Leon Spinks against Alfio Rigetti.
Good afternoon. At
Spinks
the tone, the
5-0
time will
with a
be
draw
3,
against Scott
18.
Ledoux. Alfio Rigetti,
And
the
50
Italian
seconds.
heavyweight champion, his record 27-0. And he has knocked out
Good afternoon.
14
At the tone, the time
of
will
his
be
foes.
3,
So that'll be
19.
Friday the 18th.
And they're going to be doing that
Exactly.
thing from Las Vegas.
That one is from
Good
Campione,
afternoon.
Italy.
At the tone,
Is
the
that
time
right?
will
I
be
think so.
3,
That's not too far off.
19.
Good double check.
And 10 seconds.
Let's see. Okay, make it Las Vegas.
Good afternoon. At the tone, the time will be 3,
He said that all
19.
sounds good, but will it work?
And 20 seconds.
All right, Pisarcik brings it in. It is
Good
4th and
afternoon.
goal.
At
The
the
ball
tone, the
is
time will be
inside
3,
the 1.
19. And 30
This
seconds.
becomes a very important play. If the Giants make it, they have some heart.
Good
They
afternoon.
are
At the
still
tone, the
technically
time
in
will
the
be
ball
3,
game.
19.
If they are frustrated and come up
And
a buck
40
short,
seconds.
it should break their hearts and
Absolutely.
probably take the whole.
I think it will.
Good afternoon. At the tone, the time will be 3, 19.
Perkins wide left.
50 seconds.
Moorhead is on a wing outside Shirk, the tight end, and the backs are split. So they usually
Good
pass out of this
afternoon. At the
formation.
tone, the
Let's
time
see.
will be 3,
Hammond.
20.
Touchdown! Bobby
Exactly.
Hammond. A flag on the play to hold the phone.
Good afternoon. At the tone, the time will be 3,
Now
20.
it's okay.
And
Offside
10
Dallas,
seconds.
the play declined. Touchdown New York.
A lot of times that will work right
Good
up the middle.
afternoon. At the
Let's see what
tone, the
kind of
time
block
will
it
be
is.
3,
Yep. Van Horn,
20.
it's a fold block. Van Horn,
And
the center
20
block to his
seconds.
left, Van Horn to his right. The hole just opens up. Sometimes it does look work. And it works.
Good
It
afternoon.
looks
At the
good when
tone,
it
the
does.
time will be 3, 20.
Henderson got just bumped out of
And
the way
30
there.
seconds.
I'll tell you wonder how a guy that good can be cut or put on
Good
waivers.
afternoon. At the
He's
tone, the
quick and
time will be
exciting.
3,
Danilo
20.
with a flag in the air.
And 40
The
seconds.
kick is good, and let's wait and see. The flag was in the air as the
Good
kick was
afternoon.
being
At the
made.
tone, the time will
Offside,
be 3,
Dallas.
20.
Touchdown and point
And
after
50
for the
seconds.
Giants. So Dallas, that penalty declined. There was a penalty on the touchdown.
Good
and
afternoon.
the point
At the
after.
tone, the time will be
So there
3,
have been at least
21.
13 penalties called, although
Exactly.
a couple declined. Dallas must be wondering what's going on up here.
Bizarre, you know he's satisfied
Good
with the
afternoon.
play
At the
that they
tone, the
finally
time will be
selected. Have you ever
3,
given any thought they
21.
always...
And 10 seconds.
They always credit Tom Landry for sending in the plays. Of course, he does send them in, but those coaches up in the
Good
press box...
afternoon. At the tone, the time will be 3, 21.
From the press box
And
to the
20
field
seconds.
and onto the field, they all got to think alike, brother.
And how? Talking about thinking alike, we've got something that
Good
has
afternoon.
to please
At the
your palate.
tone, the time
Next
will be
Saturday
3,
at 4:30, think
21.
along with us. First, the Dixie
And 30
500
seconds.
from the Atlanta International Raceway. That'll be the 18th annual Dixie 500.
Good afternoon.
Then
At the tone, the time will be 3, 21.
And finally, the world's strongest
40
men
seconds.
competition. There has to be a lot there to whet your appetite. Next Saturday, 4:30
Good
p.m.
afternoon. At the tone, the
CBS
time will
Sports
be 3,
Spectacular. A
21.
great place to be.
And 50 seconds.
So Joe Danello. It is now 21-10 in
Good
favor
afternoon.
of Dallas.
At the tone, the time will
Danello
be 3,
kicking deep.
22.
Larry Brinson, number 36.
Exactly.
Butch Johnson, number 86. Johnson on the right of your screen. We have
Good
42
afternoon. At
seconds
the tone,
to
the
go
time
in the
will be
third
3,
quarter.
22. And 10
Danello
seconds.
will test Brinson. He backs him into the end zone. He drops it.
Good afternoon. At
Picks
the
it up
tone,
and
the time
downs
will
it,
be
and
3,
that's
22.
So Dallas will put it in
And
play.
20 seconds.
First and 10 from the 20.
Good afternoon. At the tone, the time will be 3, 22. And 30 seconds.
So 21-10.
Good afternoon.
If you
At the
remember
tone, the
why
time will
that
be
ball was
3,
kicked into the end
22.
zone, Dallas was penalized
And 40 seconds.
on the point after. That 5-yard infraction was then invoked on the kickoff.
Good afternoon. At
That
the
meant
tone, the
Danello
time will
had an
be
extra
3,
5 yards. He
22.
kicked off from the 40 instead
And
of the
50
35, and of
seconds.
course he rooted it back into the Dallas end zone. So it is first and 10 Cowboys.
Good afternoon.
Their
At
own
the tone, the
20-yard
time will be
line.
3,
Staubach
23.
going all the way. Newhouse and Preston Pearson.
Good afternoon. At the tone, the time will be 3, 23.
And Bryant Kelly
And 10
took
seconds.
Herb Scott's block and just came back off the block to make the tackle. A fine play by
Good afternoon.
Brian
At the
Kelly.
tone, the time will be
He's a
3,
5-year man out of
23.
California Lutheran.
And 20 seconds.
He's a defensive signal caller for the Giants. He's the boy we mentioned earlier.
Good
who played
afternoon. At the
football,
tone, the
rugby,
time
and
will be
also was
3,
quite a wrestler.
23.
He's very strong in that right
And 30
linebacker
seconds.
spot. Picked up 4.
Good afternoon. At
So
the
Dallas
tone, the
moving
time will
ball
be
to
3,
their own 24-yard
23.
line. Second and 6.
And 40 seconds.
And time has run out on the third quarter. So that's the end of the third quarter.
Good afternoon.
And the
At the
score,
tone, the time will
Dallas
be 3,
Cowboys
23.
21, the New York Giants
And 50
10.
seconds.
And we now pause for a word from your local station.
Good afternoon. At the tone, the time
Jack's
will be
first
3,
crush on a girl
24.
could be shattered by a divorce. Strange
Exactly.
doings on the Fitzpatricks, Tuesday night on CBS.
Good afternoon. At the tone, the time will be 3, 24. And 10 seconds. Good afternoon. At the tone, the time will be 3, 24. And 20 seconds. Good afternoon. At the tone, the time will be 3, 24. And 30 seconds. Good afternoon. At the tone, the time will be 3, 24. And 40 seconds. Good afternoon. At the tone, the time will be 3, 24. And 50 seconds. Good afternoon. At the tone, the time will be 3, 25. Exactly. Good afternoon. At the tone, the time will be 3, 25.
Right.
And 10 seconds.
The start of the fourth quarter here at Giants Stadium in East Rutherford, New Jersey. Roger Staubach.
afternoon.
and
At the tone, the
undefeated
time will
Dallas
be 3,
Cowboys, 7-0.
25.
They have been
And
slowed
20
down
seconds.
a little bit, and for one big reason. Dallas penalized 12 times, as you see,
Good
for
afternoon.
98
At the tone,
yards.
the time will be
The Giants,
3,
2 penalties
25.
for 50 yards, and remember,
30 seconds.
one of those penalties was actually a 39-yard penalty on a pass interference.
Good afternoon. At the
Remember, it
tone,
was
the
from
time will be
40,
3,
and they put the ball on
25.
the 1. So
And
one
40
penalty
seconds.
alone was a sizable chunk of the Giant yardage. So the Cowboys are fighting the Giants in the rule book, and they're still leading, this time by 11, 21-10.
It'll be interesting to see what Roger does here. This guy can confuse you a lot of times. You'll think he's going to keep the ball on the ground, but not necessarily so with Roger Staubach.
Puts Johnson wide left and Drew Pearson wide right. The backs are split. Newhouse now cozies up to Dorsett.
Good afternoon. At the tone, the time will be 3:26. And 10 seconds.
Quick out and a screen to Drew Pearson. He gets by Bryant. See you later.
Good afternoon. At the tone, the time will be 3:26.
Dragged down by Stanky,
and 20
but he
seconds.
dragged him down just shy of the 10-yard line.
I thought he was gone for sure.
What a
Good afternoon. At the tone, the time will be 3:26.
And 30 takes off from his own 24 to the Giant 11.
Doesn't that
Good afternoon. At the tone, the time will be 3:26.
Something like that.
64 yards on this little screen.
The imagination of Roger Staubach. Quick flip out there, and
good afternoon. At the tone, the time will be 3:26.
But not so. Drew Pearson.
And 50 seconds.
And does he turn it on right here? And let's see if he went out of bounds there.
Good afternoon. At the tone, the time will be 3:27.
That's Stanky and big defensive end George Martin, 75, trying to chase him.
Good afternoon. At the tone, the time will be 3:27.
Moving back in, they chased him
and
from
10
behind.
seconds.
No angle involved there.
The officials really stepped out of bounds on the Giant 35-yard line.
Good afternoon. At the tone, the time will be 3:27.
So they'll put it in play. Will Dallas first and
20
10 on the Giant 35. Roger Staubach, it was questionable at the start of the game. There had
Good
been
afternoon.
reports
At the
about
tone,
his
the time will be
3:27. How it had been
3:27.
drained.
And 30
now it was
seconds.
questionable as to whether he would start or Danny White. However, Alex was on the
Good
field talking.
afternoon.
He
At
said
the
he
tone,
wanted
the
to start.
time will be
And when Roger wants to start, he
3:27.
plays.
And 40
Roger,
seconds.
make no mistake about it. They consult him an awful lot about decisions like that.
Good
He is a
afternoon. At the tone, the time will be
First and 10
3:27.
from the Giant 35.
And 50 seconds.
Fake to Richards, and now another screen to Newhouse, but he bounced it.
Good afternoon.
So they
At
had
the tone, the
end
time will be
around, and they faked it,
3:28.
and they wanted to set up a screen.
Exactly.
And it was a broken down pass.
Bobby, he's a little put out with himself.
Good afternoon. At the tone, the time will be 3:28. And 10 seconds.
Philadelphia leading New Orleans. 11-yard pass, Bobby
Good
Douglas
afternoon. At the
to
tone, the
Henry
time will
Childs,
be
getting New Orleans
3:28.
score. So Philadelphia
And 20
21, New
seconds.
Orleans 7. Detroit, angry, having been pushed all over the lot by Dallas last week.
Good
so they're taking
afternoon.
it
At
out
the
on
tone,
San
the time
Diego.
will be
20-0.
3:28.
That's surprising.
What's more
And 30
surprising is an
seconds.
NFC team beating an AFC team.
1 in a million. Second and 10 from the
Good
35.
afternoon. At the tone, the
backs are
time will
split.
be 3:28. And 40 seconds.
In motion, Drew Pearson. Staubach going down the middle,
Good
and he's got
afternoon.
his
At the
man.
tone, the
That
time
puts
will be
Johnson dragged down at
3:28.
the 25, right at
And
the
50
first
seconds.
down hash mark, and I think that'll be enough. Yep, first down. So
Good
Butch
afternoon.
Johnson,
At the tone, the time will be
who is all over the place.
3:29.
And Roger keeps on
Exactly.
keeping on, doesn't he? Mixing those plays up. Right on the
Good
money.
afternoon.
Boy,
At
he
the
is an
tone, the
accurate
time will
thrower.
be
I never really thought he was a good
3:29.
passer in college. He has come to
And 10
improve with every
seconds.
year.
Jim Stanky again in on the tackle. So it is first and 10
Good
on the
afternoon.
Giant
At the tone, the
24.
time
Here's
will be
Rogers' numbers.
3:29. And 20 seconds.
Here comes Dorsett. And dragged down by Troy Archer.
Good
who
afternoon.
somehow
At the tone,
found
the
him in
time
a
will be
crowd.
3:29.
And Archer got him at the ankles. And John
And 30
McVay,
seconds.
who saw his club get close, then suddenly saw a lot of the air come out of the balloon.
Good afternoon.
on
At
that
the tone, the
screen
time
to
will
Drew
be
Pearson.
3:29.
Now the Giants trying to hang on, and Dallas
40
trying to
seconds.
sting him another lick.
Good afternoon. At the tone, the time will
And
be
going out and evidently
3:29.
shaken up is John
And 50
Mendenhall for the
seconds.
Giants after playing a tremendous game. There's Mendenhall hurt on the sideline.
Good afternoon. At the tone, the time will be 3:30.
Second and 7
Exactly.
from the Giant 22.
Good afternoon. At the tone, the time will be
Down by
3:30.
Beesno. Clyde Powers,
And
the
10
strong
seconds.
safety, knocked it away from Billy Joe Dupree. Clyde Powers saved
Good
the moment
afternoon.
anyway.
At the tone, the time will be
Powers, the 4-year
3:30.
man out of Oklahoma.
And 20
Well,
seconds.
Powers did himself proud right here. Look at, he puts that right hand in there.
Good afternoon. At the
Just
tone,
in
the
the nick of
time will be
time. I'll tell you that,
3:30.
Billy Joe Dupree.
And 30
He
seconds.
is a one heck of a tight end against the zone coverage. He doesn't have all that speed, though, when you get him man
Good
to man.
afternoon. At the
Here's
tone, the
one
time will be
touchdown reception
3:30.
on a toss from Staubach. Third
And 40
7
seconds.
from the Giant 22. And they load up the shotgun again.
Good afternoon. At the tone, the time will be 3:30 and 50 seconds.
He's got Butch and out to Pearson. Brad Van Pelt.
Good afternoon. At the tone, the time will be 3:31.
Preston Pearson made the reception. A holding call against Dallas.
Toughest thing Van Pelt's going to have to do is cover a guy
Good
like
afternoon. At the tone, the time will be 3:31.
The field. Preston's got an option
and 10 seconds.
Go either inside or out, and it put Van Pelt in a bad bind.
Good afternoon. At the tone, the time will be 3:31 and 20 seconds.
That's another rough call on Pat Donovan, so his name will be bandied about when they look at the film.
Good afternoon. At the tone, the time will be 3:31 and 30 seconds.
Pass. It couldn't be more perfectly. And Preston Pearson, you can see how much room is between them.
Good afternoon. At the tone, the time will be 3:31.
He has really helped that Cowboy
and 40 seconds.
Well, Dallas has now been penalized 13 times for 108
Good afternoon.
yards.
At the tone, the time will be 3:31
the Giants
and 50 seconds.
Time, I believe.
Good afternoon. At the tone, the time will be 3:32.
Staubach appeared annoyed and suddenly snapped and turned around and asked for time. 21-10.
Good afternoon. At the tone, the time will be 3:32 and 10 seconds. Good afternoon. At the tone, the time will be 3:32 and 20 seconds.
Prestone. You need Prestone.
Good afternoon. At the tone, the time will be 3:32.
You could be in trouble, so put in a fresh
and
fill of
30
Prestone,
seconds.
too, to prevent corrosion and freeze-ups.
Good afternoon. At the tone, the time will be 3:32
Prestone. You
and
need
40 seconds.
Prestone. Why are men switching from aerosol hairsprays to
tone, the time will be 3:32.
Pump? Because it doesn't spray any aerosol
seconds.
propellants. The pump? Well, it costs less to use.
Good afternoon. At the tone, the time will be 3:33.
Because the pump is stronger. Can hold longer than the best-selling aerosol.
The Pump. Vitalis Super Hold Pump Spray. Now with an
Good
even finer
afternoon.
spray.
At the tone, the
Why
time will
don't you
be
switch from your aerosol
3:33 and 10 seconds.
Judd Hirsch guest stars as Rhoda has a new romance.
Good afternoon. At the tone, the time will be 3:33 and 20 seconds.
Watch Rhoda Sunday night.
13 minutes left to
Good
go in the
afternoon.
ball
At the tone,
game.
the time will
Dallas
be
leading the Giants
3:33
21-10. Staubach
and 30
along with
seconds.
Golden Richards coming in, and we find out that Atlanta on a 24-yard field goal by
Good
Fred
afternoon. At the
Steinfort.
tone,
They
the
just
time
picked him
will
up
be
after releasing Nick
3:33
McMahon. And it is 10-3
and 40
in
seconds.
favor of San Francisco in the fourth quarter. Buffalo 24, New England
Good
14, a
afternoon. At
10-yard
the tone,
run by
the time will
Sam
be
Cunningham. And play back
3:33
in.
and 50
Without
seconds.
O.J. Simpson, too. He's on the coast.
3rd and 17.
Good afternoon. At the
Staubach
tone, the
in a
time will be
shotgun.
3:34.
Giants pressure him. He has time and flips it to Golden Richards. And Richards captures
Good
it and goes
afternoon. At
down,
the tone,
but
the
not
time
enough
will
for
be
the first down on that play.
3:34
So it'll be 4th
and 10
down.
seconds.
And Efren Herrera will come in to attempt a field goal. Golden Richards
Good afternoon.
making
At
the
the tone,
reception,
the time
but
will
not
be
enough.
3:34 and 20
Bill
seconds.
Bryant cut his legs out to prevent him from advancing after the reception.
Golden Richards didn't miss
Good
an
afternoon.
opportunity
At the
to let
tone,
his
the time will
golden
be
hair grow long.
3:34
Well, I'll tell you one thing, you got to
and
fight
30
for some
seconds.
recognition when you play on that Dallas club with guys like Butch Johnson, Drew Pearson.
Good afternoon.
Billy
At the
Joe
tone, the
White,
time will
job,
be
too, yeah.
3:34
Herrera picks it
and
up
40
and
seconds.
good. And so Efren Herrera is now 16 out of 23
Good
field goals
afternoon.
this
At the
year.
tone, the time
And
will
the
be
Dallas Cowboys have added a
3:34
little icing to the cake.
and 50
They're
seconds.
sitting on top 24-10.
Good afternoon. At the tone, the time will be 3:35.
For the workaholic.
Exactly.
Somebody's got to get the work out.
Many people drive themselves too hard, and it's putting the cost of health care
Good
under a
afternoon.
lot
At
of
the
stress.
tone, the time will be
Blue Cross and Blue Shield plans
3:35
have programs to hold
and
costs
10
down,
seconds.
but everybody needs to help.
I hear you're working on a transfer.
Huh?
Yeah. That
Good afternoon. At the tone, the time will be
When you
3:35
overtax yourself,
and 20
we all
seconds.
pay for it.
All of us helping each of us.
Good afternoon. At the tone, the time will be 3:35
Energy
and 30
for a
seconds.
stronger, America.
A lot of the oil and gas under America's land has been found, and our known resources are dwindling. Right now, we're using nearly twice as much oil as we're producing, and considerably more than we're finding. This is why Exxon researchers continue to look beyond conventional sources for more energy, including ways to harness solar power, in order to provide more energy for our strong America.
Good afternoon. At the tone, the time will be 3:36.
Efren Herrera, fresh from a 35-yard field goal. He has now given Dallas a 24-10 lead.
Good afternoon. At the tone, the time will be 3:36.
And as we mentioned, by kicking that one today, he is 16 out of 23, and he had 2 of them blocked.
He's been consistent,
too.
All his career with the
time will
Cowboys.
be
Fairly consistent.
3:36.
That's odd these days.
And 20 seconds.
These kickers get squirrels in their head.
He got that number 1 for good reason on his shirt. A short kick, however.
At the tone, the time will be 3:36.
This one goes out of bounds. That didn't even get off the mark.
30 seconds.
The closest man to it was Brian Kelly, so they'll have to kick it over again.
Good afternoon. At the tone, the time will be 3:36.
The Dallas Cowboys are comfortable, 24-10, and their biggest problem today, the rule book.
That's right.
Good afternoon. At the tone, the time will be
8 plays for Dallas, 80 yards,
and
capped
50
by
seconds.
a 35-yard kick by Efren Herrera. And in keeping the ball for over 3 minutes,
at the tone, the time will be
12 minutes and 20 seconds.
Exactly.
Cowboys making shambles in the divisional race.
Good afternoon. At the tone, the time will be 3:37.
Lead over Washington and St. Louis, and St. Louis have to
and
play
10 seconds.
in the game that you'll see after this one, excluding the New York area. Minnesota at St. Louis should be a dandy.
Good afternoon. At the tone, the time will be
3:33. Waiting for Herrera's kick.
And 20
he has
seconds.
to kick it now from the 30. And he knuckleballs it down to Brian
Good
Kelly.
afternoon. At
He
the
picks
tone,
it up
the
at
time
the
will be
27, and the linebacker is out to the 40-yard line.
And 30 seconds.
Still going and knocked out of bounds at the 46. Brian Kelly.
Good afternoon. At the tone, the time will be 3:37.
Finally gets a chance to run.
And 40 seconds.
And he might regret it. They shook him up.
Good afternoon.
Miami.
At the tone, the time will be 3:37.
Able to hang on. Marty
and 50
Domrez
seconds.
completed a 17-yard touchdown pass. Miami beating the Jets, however, 14-10.
Good afternoon. At the tone, the time will be
3:38.
And another final.
Exactly.
The Detroit Lions. And they had been chewed up in Dallas 37-0.
Good afternoon. At the tone, the time will be 3:38.
A nice comeback win for
and
Detroit.
10 seconds.
20-0 over San Diego, a final.
But San Diego's an interesting team. You
Good
never know what they're
afternoon.
going
At
to
the
do.
tone, the time will be 3:38.
Tommy Prothro would probably
and
call them a
20
little
seconds.
more than interesting after scoring zip today. Tom Landry
Good
applauding
afternoon. At the
Brian
tone, the time
Kelly.
will be 3:38.
Kelly, the gutsy linebacker who has played well,
and 30 seconds.
finally ran back that kick, and he was shaken up.
Good afternoon. At the tone, the time will be 3:38.
Kelly is okay. He goes off with Reese
and 40
Hammond,
seconds.
and the Giants will put the ball in play. 1st and 10 on their own 47-yard line.
Good afternoon. At the
12
tone, the
minutes
time
and
will be
10 seconds left to go in the ball
3:38.
game, and Dallas
and 50
leading
seconds.
the Giants 24-10.
Plenty of time to do it, but can they? Do they have anything left?
Good afternoon. At the tone, the time will
Robinson,
be
who has been very
3:39.
quiet. Jimmy Robinson is wide right. Now he's in motion. Bell and Watkins are in the
Good
backfield.
afternoon. At the tone, the time will be 3:39.
And it's knocked down by Barnes.
And
he
10
was looking
seconds.
for Robinson, and Benny Barnes almost picked it off.
Good afternoon. At the tone, the time will be
Doesn't get a lot of
3:39.
credit. He's steady.
And 20
He's a
seconds.
free agent. Out of Stanford, 6 years in the league. Well known on the
Good
West Coast.
afternoon.
He
At
was
the
in two
tone, the
Rose
time will be
Bowls, but not too well
3:39.
known in the NFL.
And
He's
30
done a fine
seconds.
job.
Good afternoon. At the tone, the time will be 3:39. And 40 seconds.
Yes, a big one. St. Louis and Jim Hart against Fran Tarkenton in Minnesota coming up.
Good
on most
afternoon.
of
At the
these
tone, the
stations,
time
but
will be
not in New York.
3:39. And 50 seconds.
Pisarcik to Perkins, no good. And he had
Good
Mark
afternoon.
Washington
At the
and
tone, the
Cliff
time will
Harris
be
running right along with him.
3:40.
Well, this is the part of the game that the
Exactly.
offensive linemen can't stand. They let those defensive guys tee off of them. They know they got to pass to get back in the game.
Good afternoon.
It
At the
could be
tone,
mighty
the
long
time will
right
be
about
3:40.
Pisarcik has completed
And 10
4
seconds.
today, 4 out of 13 for only 30 yards, and he had one critical pass
Good afternoon. At the tone, the
intercepted
time
when
will
they
be
were on the drive.
3:40.
John Mendenhall.
And 20 seconds.
He has played himself a ball game today. I didn't get any report on the extent of his injury.
Good afternoon at the Tone. The time will be 3.
He didn't look like he's in too much pain over there, did he?
No,
and
indeed.
30 seconds.
3rd and 10 on the Giant 47. Robinson in a slot right.
Good afternoon at the Tone. The time will be 3.
The lanky wide
40.
receiver on the left side.
And 40 seconds.
Complete to Bobby Hammond, a back coming out of the backfield.
At the Tone. The time will be 3.
He's knocked out by Cliff
40.
Waters. Charlie
and 50
Waters.
seconds.
Yes, sir. Oh, Charlie from Clemson. Oh, he got
Good
mad at me one
afternoon at
time.
the Tone. The time will be 3.
At the table with Danny
41.
Reeves.
Exactly.
Charlie Waters, I was telling him to quit worrying about the Redskins and go on with the game. They were
Good
going to play the
afternoon at the Tone. The time will be 3. 41. And 10 seconds.
I said, you're a much better team than the Redskins. You make most of your troubles. And he just about tore up the place. I like old
Good
Charlie. Make
afternoon
good
at
friends
the
with him
Tone.
after
The
that,
time
though.
will be 3. 41. And 20 seconds.
Danny White
Good afternoon
down
at the
below
Tone.
us
The time will be
is
3.
beginning to loosen
41.
up now on the sidelines for Dallas.
30
So it could be
seconds.
the next time the Cowboys get the ball, Danny White will be in there at the wheel instead of Roger Staubach.
Good afternoon at the Tone. The time will be 3.
Ball back
41.
on the Giant 37.
And 40 seconds.
Gordon Bell. And he is dragged
Good
down by
afternoon at the
Henderson,
Tone. The
slowed
time will
up
be
by
3.
Henderson.
41.
And then 2 others come up.
And 50
Barnes
seconds.
was one of them. And down he goes. Aaron Kyle, the fellow with
Good
the
afternoon
fractured
at
wrist.
the Tone. The time will be 3. 42.
There's Danny White. We have seen him punting today, and from the looks of things, we will see him at quarterback in a little while.
Good afternoon at the Tone.
That's
The
Butch
time
Johnson,
will be 3.
standing
42.
back on his 15-yard line,
And 10
waiting for
seconds.
Dave Jennings' punt. 11:23 left to go in the game, and it is
Good
24 to
afternoon
10
at the Tone.
Dallas.
The time will be 3. 42. And 20 seconds.
Barnes coming along with Charlie Waters, and Jennings got it away.
Good afternoon at the
Johnson
Tone. The
at
time
the
will be
15.
3. 42.
And down
and
he
30
goes.
seconds.
Beasley Reese, number 28, dragging him down.
Good afternoon at the Tone. The time will be 3.
Take over,
42.
leading handily by
And 40
14,
seconds.
24 to 10, with 11 minutes left to go in the game.
Good afternoon at the Tone. The time will be 3.
Inside
42.
this new Firestone radial tire
And
is an
50
improved
seconds.
steel cord with 5 million miles of developmental testing, where once we
Good
used 5
afternoon at the
strands,
Tone. The
we
time
now
will be
use 10
3.
strands of
43.
steel. 7
Exactly.
around 2, wrapped by 1. A cord construction so important. Firestone
Good afternoon
named
at the
tire
Tone. The
for it.
time will be 3.
7,
43.
1.
And 10
The
seconds.
new steel-belted radial 721. Now, from Firestone.
Good afternoon at the Tone. The time will be 3. 43.
I had my own way of
And 20
tackling.
seconds.
I used to grab the whole backfield. Then I threw guys out until I found the one with the ball.
Good afternoon at the
When I
Tone. The
started
time will be
drinking beer,
3.
I did the same
43.
thing. And this is the one I'm
And 30
holding on to.
seconds.
Light beer from Miller. It has a third less calories than a regular beer.
Good afternoon
It's less
at the Tone.
filling,
The time
and it
will be
tastes
3.
terrific, too.
43. And 40 seconds.
I also love the easy opening can.
Light beer from Miller. Everything you
Good
always wanted in
afternoon
a
at
beer.
the Tone. The
and
time
less.
will be 3. 43.
First and 10
50
Dallas
seconds.
on their own 17-yard line. 11 minutes and 4 seconds left to go in the ball game.
Good
and
afternoon
it's
at
Dallas
the Tone. The
24,
time will be
and the
3.
Giants 10, and Mr.
44.
Roger Staubach is out there
Exactly.
calling the shots. Still. Drew Pearson wide left, Golden Richards wide right.
Good afternoon at the Tone.
Newhouse
The
and
time will be
Dorsett.
3. 44.
And it's Dorsett.
And 10 seconds.
Nowhere to go. He was dragged down from behind, and a good play indeed by
Good
Troy
afternoon
Archer.
at the Tone. The time
we
will be
talked a lot
3.
by Mendenhall,
44.
but double sevens there
And
has
20
done
seconds.
well.
Yes, sir. Troy Archer and Jack Gregory. That's not really a weak side.
Good afternoon at the Tone. The
run
time will be
against. Look at
3.
Gregory, 81.
44.
There's Archer.
And
Making the
30
penetration,
seconds.
getting an arm on him. The two of them team up and do it very well. I'll tell you,
Good
you
afternoon
got a
at
hand
the
to the
Tone. The
Giants. They
time
have
will be
not quit.
3. 44.
And they look like a fairly poised team, which
And 40
reflects the coaching
seconds.
of a club.
And you can bet Tom Landry doesn't feel he has a lock on this one, which is one
Good
reason why
afternoon at the
Staubach is
Tone.
still
The time
out
will
there.
be 3.
Second and
44.
10 from the 17.
And 50 seconds.
Back split. Newhouse stays in to block. The pass
Good
out
afternoon
here
at the
to
Tone. The time
Butch
will be
Johnson.
3.
And he is
45.
slung to the ground by Bill
Exactly.
Bryant at the 20-yard line. So it'll be a third down
Good
play.
afternoon
We'll
at the
see where
Tone.
they
The
spot
time
the
will
ball
be
now.
3.
They spotted
45.
well forward of the 20. They put it
And
down
10
on about
seconds.
the 23-yard line.
Rogers still not only in there, but still gunning, huh?
Staubach
Good
has
afternoon at the
completed
Tone. The time
11
will be
for
3.
21.
45.
And he has one
20
touchdown
seconds.
pass to his tight end, Billy Joe Dupree. 174
Good afternoon.
yards.
At the tone, the time will
And of
be
course,
3,
with one touchdown set up
45.
on pass interference.
And 30
Dorsett punched
seconds.
over from the 1. Shotgun. On
Good
third
afternoon.
down.
At the tone, the time
Inside
will be 3,
handoff to Dorsett. Van
45.
Pelt missed him.
And 40
and
seconds.
he's gone. First down. Brad Van Pelt had him cold and missed him.
Good afternoon. At the
Is that
tone, the
Tony
time will be
Dorsett?
3,
Is he exciting
45.
and explosive? You know, it's
And
hard for
50
the
seconds.
Cowboys to hold down the score with people like that on the bench, and they put them in. Look at this.
Watch him run away
Good
from
afternoon.
Van
At the
Pelt.
tone, the time will be 3,
Backs in football
46.
have been tackled right there. Just runs
Exactly.
out of his grasp.
Yeah,
Archer isn't about to catch him.
No.
And he turns it up. Oh,
Good afternoon. At the tone, the time will be 3, 46.
Remarkable
10
young ball
seconds.
player, Tony Dorsett, scrambles for the first down. The ball
Good
on the Dallas
afternoon. At the
34.
tone, the time will be 3,
8:56 left to go in the
46.
game. On a draw
And 20
play to
seconds.
Dorsett, but it took too long. And Brian Kelly, 55 among others, and along with
Good
Troy
afternoon.
Archer.
At the tone,
So
the time
Kelly
will be 3,
back
46.
in. Remember, he handled a kickoff
And
and
30
had his bell
seconds.
rung on the sideline. But he's back in there defensively. You know, you might wonder, we've been pointing
Good
out
afternoon.
the
At
great
the tone, the
defensive play
time
of
will be
this giant
3,
lineman and
46.
that giant lineman. It is
And 40
really
seconds.
a left-handed compliment to the Dallas ball club because the Giant defense has
Good
handled them
afternoon.
pretty
At the
well.
tone, the time will be
Meanwhile,
3,
Dallas
46.
has given up 10 points
And 50
to a team
seconds.
that was blanked by the St. Louis Cardinals.
That is a thought. That is a thought.
For the
Good
day.
afternoon. At the
Second and
tone, the
12
time
from
will
the
be 3,
31. And Staubach
47.
hard to Tony
Exactly.
Dorsett. And that's to the 37-yard line. It's about a
Good
gain of 2
afternoon. At
yards.
the tone,
all
the
on
time will be
play.
3,
You know, when you think of the
47.
Cowboys, you think in terms of them
And 10
passing the ball
seconds.
more than that, but they have a very balanced attack offensively and defensively. I mean, very balanced.
Dallas coming
afternoon.
in
At the
here
tone, the
having
time will be
beaten
3,
Detroit soundly
47.
37-0.
And 20
Probably had
seconds.
some kind of a letdown. They appeared a little sluggish in the first half, and as we said, the
Good
penalties
afternoon.
really
At the tone,
slowed
the
them up.
time will be 3,
Then in the
47.
third quarter, they looked like they were really
And
going to
30
take
seconds.
off. They're leading by 14. We have 7:40 left to go in the game.
Good afternoon. At the
Ball on
tone, the
Dallas
time will be
37.
3, 47.
Shotgun again.
And 40 seconds.
And it's complete to Preston Pearson. Van Pelt.
Good
hit him
afternoon.
low,
At the tone,
and
the time will be
Powers
3,
came over the top.
47. And 50
There
seconds.
again, though, it gets kind of monotonous watching Preston Pearson come out, but he gets open every time he
Good
comes out.
afternoon. At the tone,
He
the
reads
time will be
defenses
3,
so well.
48.
Roger Staubach is so accurate.
Exactly.
Just always out of the grasp of somebody because of the move he's put on him. And looked like it might be a little spearing.
Good afternoon.
Yeah,
At the
Clyde
tone, the
Powers
time
came
will
in
be
a little heavy.
3,
Brad Van
48.
Pelt. Apparently, they
And
have
10
really gone
seconds.
after him today. I can't tell how many times we have seen a pass completed, and the only man
Good afternoon. At
closest
the
to
tone, the time
receiver
will be
was Van
3,
Pelt. Now,
48.
maybe we're laying the body at the
And
wrong
20
doorstep,
seconds.
but it appears a little obvious.
You are right.
First and 10 on the Dallas 47.
Good afternoon. At the tone, the time will be 3,
Inside
48.
handoff to Dorsett, nowhere.
And 30 seconds.
Big George Martin, number 75, hit him first. And then Carson said, thank you, hold him.
Good
I'll lick him
afternoon. At the
myself.
tone, the time will be 3,
There
48.
you see a little bit of lack of
And 40
experience from Tony
seconds.
Dorsett. That play was designed to go inside very quickly, and he just gave the impression
Good
that he wanted
afternoon.
to
At
take
the
it
tone, the
outside
time will be
anyway.
3, 48.
14 rushes, as you see, for
And 50
32 yards,
seconds.
1 touchdown. A 1-yard dive after a pass interference play
afternoon.
gave
At the
Dallas
tone,
the
the
ball
time will
on
be
the
3,
Giant
49.
1-yard line. To
Exactly.
Staubach on a second down from his 46, inside a handoff
Good
again, and a
afternoon. At
flag
the tone,
on
the
the
time will
play.
be 3,
Oh, hold everything.
49. And
Robert
10
Newhart's
seconds.
trying to get through.
What you reckon, Holden?
Yep.
Good
There you
afternoon.
go.
At the tone,
Holding
the time will
against
be 3, 49.
It better not
And 20
be, and we're
seconds.
not even going to mention the number unless it pops up
No,
again.
left guard.
Okay.
That's be my guess.
Good afternoon. At the tone, the time will be 3,
Is
49.
Lawless in there?
And 30
Number 64,
seconds.
offensive holding, refused.
Tom Rafferty.
Tom
Good afternoon.
Rafferty,
At
and
the tone, the
penalty
time will be
declined.
3, 49. And 40 seconds.
We have 6
Good
minutes
afternoon.
and
At the
4
tone, the
seconds
time will
left
be
to go.
3,
The Giants
49.
trailing by 2 touchdowns.
And 50
There's
seconds.
Hicks and Van Horn waiting patiently on the sideline.
Good afternoon.
And now
At the
another
tone, the
play
time will
for
be
Roger
3,
trying to keep
50.
it alive. So once again, he looks through
Exactly.
the crosshairs of the shotgun.
Good afternoon. At the tone, the time will be 3, 50.
Staubach short hopping Robert
And 10
Newhouse.
seconds.
And after a play last week against Detroit like that, One of the Dallas players was saying, we better send Roger to the weight room. He's losing his strength.
And 20 seconds.
Deflected ball. I'll tell you, the Cowboys are after blood. They're taking no prisoners, huh? That's right. Here's 6 minutes to go. 2 touchdowns.
The time will be 3:50.
And now the Giants will get their hands on the ball again. Danny White is in to punt. He'll be punting from about his 35-yard line.
At the tone, the time will
Meanwhile,
be 3:50.
in a twin safety for the Giants, Hammond and
40
Reese.
seconds.
Hammond 33, Beasley Reese 28. White hanging one
at the tone,
in the direction of Beasley Reese. And he's tied up, no way to make a return, and they're going to spot that ball inside the 10 to the 8-yard line.
Good afternoon.
So the Giants
at the tone, the time will be 3:51.
First and 10 from their own 8 if they mark it there. Well, next week, CBS Sports Regionals, Detroit versus Atlanta. The Giants
Good
will play
afternoon. At the tone, the time will be
Washington, Philadelphia.
3:51.
And Los Angeles,
and
Green Bay, San Francisco versus New Orleans. That's next Sunday, right here on CBS.
Good afternoon. At the tone, the time will be 3:51. And 20
maybe.
seconds.
Yeah, maybe so.
It wasn't a convincing game against Atlanta, was it?
Nobody beats
Good afternoon.
Atlanta.
At the tone, the time will be 3:51.
It's for real.
And 30 seconds.
Left. First and 10 on the Giant 8-yard line. Robinson in motion to the right.
Good afternoon. At the tone, the time will be 3:51. And 40 seconds.
He gets across the 15 and is whacked out at the 18-yard line.
Good afternoon. At the tone, the time will be 3:51. And 50
final
seconds.
Score. No upsets in a row. New Orleans had their big day last week.
Good afternoon. At the tone, the time will be 3:52.
Dick Vermeil's got them going up there in Philadelphia.
The Giant bench.
Good afternoon.
Waiting
at the tone,
now,
the time will be 3:52.
Their club can come back. There's Zonka and Bell,
and 10
among
seconds.
others. Second and about
Good
a yard.
afternoon. At the tone, the time will be
Inside to Watkins.
3:53. And 20 seconds.
He might have made it.
You ever give any thought
Good
to that
afternoon.
name, though?
At the tone, the time will be 3:52.
How intimidating that is.
And 30
I'll tell you
seconds.
what, it also is confusing to some people because there is some resentment over the
Good
fact that the
afternoon. At
New
the
York
tone, the time
football
will be
Giants make their home in New
3:52.
Jersey.
You got it.
And 40 seconds.
So just enough for that first
Good
down.
afternoon.
First
At
and
the tone,
10
the
on
time
the
will
20.
be 3:52.
5-12 left to go on the ball game.
And 50
Robinson
seconds.
left, Perkins right.
Good afternoon. At the tone, the time will be
pass on first down and going for
3:53.
broke for Robinson.
Exactly.
Broken up. Mark Washington was there to break it up. They were
Good
going for the
afternoon. At
pump
the
on
tone,
that
the
one.
time will be
Little Jimmy Robinson did a
3:53.
pretty good job
And 10
helping to keep
seconds.
that ball from being intercepted. When you can't catch it, that's your job as a receiver to make sure the other guy can't catch it.
Good afternoon. At the tone,
Dallas
the time
has
will be
done a fine job.
3:53.
Pisarcik has completed
And
only
20
5.
seconds.
5 for 15. That's a 33%. He came into this game
Good
with
afternoon.
only
At
a
the tone, the time will be
40% completion, which is the
3:53.
lowest percent of any
And
quarterback
30
in the
seconds.
NFL.
That's right.
So you can't expect miracles, especially against a club like Dallas.
Good afternoon.
Second
At
and
the
10
tone, the
from the
time will
20.
be 3:53. And 40 seconds.
Hammond behind Van Horn's block. And coming
Good
around the
afternoon.
other way
At
is
the tone,
too
the
tall
time will
Jones.
be 3:53.
You want to see a big
And
man in
50
a hurry?
seconds.
Watch 72. He came all the way around the great circle route.
They drafted him
Good
number
afternoon.
1.
At the tone, the time will be
They have so many of their
3:54.
outstanding athletes. He has never really
Exactly.
developed into what they expected of him, but that's in no way saying he's not a good football player.
Too
Good
tall
afternoon.
Jones.
At the tone,
He
the
is
time
6
will be
feet
3:54.
265
And 10 seconds.
pounds. And what is shocking to some degree, his mom stands
Good afternoon.
5
At the
feet,
tone, the time will be
5.5 inches tall.
3:54.
You gotta be kidding.
And when she says,
And
I'd
20
like you to meet my
seconds.
little boy, wow. Pisarcik is going to be eaten
Good
up by
afternoon. At
Harvey
the tone,
Martin
the time will be
inside the 10-yard
3:54.
line.
That's what the position you
And
don't want to
30
put
seconds.
yourself in. Harvey Martin, too talented. Brother, when it comes to passing situation and he
Good
tees off
afternoon.
on
At
you,
the tone,
keep
the
in mind
time will
those
be
Dallas linemen play
3:54.
run before they do pass.
And 40 seconds.
No chance. When they start teeing off at you, they can make life miserable. And that
Good
guy right
afternoon.
there
At the tone,
is
the
among
time will be
best.
3:54.
That would be his 13th
And 50
sack of the
seconds.
year. Pisarcik, who has been burned a few times now, goes out. Jennings will be
Good
punting.
afternoon. At the
and
tone,
we
the
will
time
have
will be
Tony Hill along with Butch
3:55.
Johnson at the other end
Exactly.
of Jennings' punt.
Good
High
afternoon.
pass
At the
from
tone,
center.
the time will be
Oh, a fine punt by
3:55.
Jennings, and
And
here'll
10
be Hill.
seconds.
There's Jones. He can't get him.
Good afternoon. At the tone, the time will be 3:55.
And he finally goes out of bounds.
And 20 seconds. Good afternoon. At the tone, the time will be 3:55.
Next Saturday at 4:30 p.m.
And 30
the Dixie
seconds.
500 from the Atlanta International Raceway. Cale Yarborough and Richard Petty, among
Good
others.
afternoon.
Then
at the tone, the
Pendleton
time will be
Roundup Rodeo from Pendleton,
3:55.
Oregon, capped off
And
by the
40
world's
seconds.
strongest men. All of that upcoming next Saturday, 4:30 p.m. on the
Good
CBS
afternoon.
Sports
At the tone, the time
Spectacular.
will be 3:55.
Roger Staubach
And 50 seconds.
going all the way for the Cowboys, and he'll take over 1st and 10 on the
Good
Giant
afternoon.
47.
At the tone,
We
the
have
time will be
3:42 left to go in the
3:56.
game, and Dallas leading
Exactly.
24-10.
Good afternoon. At the
Pearson
tone, the
in
time will
motion.
be 3:56.
And a little screen to Golden Richard.
And 10 seconds.
And he is buried by Troy Archer after Brian Kelly did a nice
Good
little stack
afternoon.
of
At the
barley
tone,
to
the
tie
time
him
will
up
be
there.
3:56.
Brian Kelly's played himself a pretty
And
good
20
football
seconds.
game. He would be the weak link ordinarily in their linebackers, but he has played well today.
Good
Brian
afternoon.
Kelly
At the tone,
bobbing
the
and
time will
weaving
be
to slow it up.
3:56.
And then the Archer came over
And 30
to
seconds.
arrow in. 3 minutes and 15 seconds left to go
Good
in the ball
afternoon.
game.
At the tone, the time will be
I think most people who came to this
3:56.
ball game
And
expected
40 seconds.
a terribly one-sided game. Dallas playing conservatively, leading by 2
Good
touchdowns.
afternoon. At the tone, the time will be 3:56.
In motion,
50 seconds.
Drew Pearson. There goes Tony Dorsett. And hanging on for dear
Good
life is
afternoon.
John
At the tone, the
Mendenhall,
time will be
number 64.
3:57.
Well, John's healed back in there.
Exactly.
The acceleration, once again, of Tony Dorsett.
What a player.
He is excited.
Good afternoon. At the tone, the time will be
It shows 2 minutes
3:57.
and 40 seconds
And 10
left to go in the
seconds.
game. Jay Saldy comes in at tight end for Butch Johnson. Preston Pearson back in the ball
Good
game.
afternoon. At the tone, the
Cowboys
time
would
will be
appear to have this one lassoed.
3:57. And 20 seconds.
Drew Pearson coming out. 3rd and 1.
Good
On the
afternoon. At the
Giant
tone, the time will
38-yard
be
line.
3:57. And 30 seconds. Good afternoon. At the
Preston
tone, the
Pearson,
time will
but
be
there's a flag on the play.
3:57. And 40 seconds.
Well, law of averages, you figure one of them's going to go against the Giants, but invariably it's
Good
against
afternoon.
Dallas.
At the tone,
This
the
time
time
it
will
be
be
against the Giants.
3:57. And 50 seconds.
Giants offside, I believe.
Good afternoon. At
And
the
a
tone, the
final
time will
score.
be 3:58.
Cincinnati defeating
Exactly.
Cleveland 10-7. Chris Barr kicked a 47-yard field
Good
goal. That was
afternoon.
the
At
last
the tone, the
quarter
time will
game
be
to break us the tie.
3:58. And 10 seconds.
So the Giants offside. 1st and 10 on the
Good
Giant
afternoon.
33.
At the tone,
2
the
minutes
time
and
will be
9 seconds left to go in the ball game.
3:58.
The Cowboys
20
are looking
seconds.
at an 8-0 mark. The greatest start of any Dallas
Good
club, and
afternoon.
it has
At the
some good
tone, the
ones.
time will be
They've never been 8-0.
3:58. And 30 seconds.
Dorsett. That time it was the middle
Good
linebacker,
afternoon. At the tone,
Carson,
the time will be
who made the tackle.
3:58.
Tony Dorsett
And
just
40
grinding it
seconds.
out now. And I'm sure he might bust one against a somewhat weary Giant
Good afternoon.
defense
At
as
the
we
tone,
get
the
to the
time will be
2-minute mark.
3:58.
Dallas 24, the New York
And 50
Giants
seconds.
10.
At the tone, the time will be 4
With 2
o'clock.
minutes left to go in the ball game, Danny
Exactly.
White takes over at quarterback for Roger Staubach. Dallas leading 24-10.
Good afternoon. At the tone, the time will be 4
Drew
o'clock.
Pearson wide left, Golden
And
Richards
10
wide
seconds.
right.
Good afternoon. At the tone, the time will be 4 o'clock.
Dupre in motion
And
to the
20
left.
seconds.
Play action fake. White getting some heat from Carson. Throws
Good
to his
afternoon.
tight
At
end,
the tone, the
Dupre.
time will be
Van
4
Pelt finally
o'clock.
drags him down. So
And
Billy
30
Joe
seconds.
Dupre at the other end. White's pass, though his first try.
Good
is
afternoon.
One
At the
for
tone,
one.
the
That's
time will be
number
4
he's
o'clock.
Meanwhile, taking a
40
well-deserved
seconds.
rest. Roger Staubach played with a bruised hip. Played well. Guided the Cowboys
Good
to a
afternoon. At the
24-10
tone, the time will
lead,
be 4
and he'll take the
o'clock.
final 1 minute and 33
And 50
seconds off.
seconds.
Final
Good
score.
afternoon. At the
San
tone, the time will be
Francisco
4
49ers 10.
1.
The Atlanta Falcons
Exactly.
3.
Yeah, but the Rams haven't played yet today, and almost anything can happen.
They're playing Tampa Bay.
Good afternoon.
Almost
At the tone, the time will be 4
Third
1.
down and 2 on the 25.
And 10 seconds.
White, lots of time for the moment, and Gregory
Good
finally
afternoon.
got
At the
him from
tone, the time will
behind.
be 4 1.
The coverage was excellent.
And 20 seconds.
And Danny just had to wait too long to find somebody to get open, and Gregory hammered him down.
Good afternoon. At the tone, the time will be 4.
The show
1.
with 1 minute and 5 seconds left to go.
And
The
30
Dallas
seconds.
Giant game produced by Tom O'Neill, directed by Jim Silman. Our thanks to our statistician,
Good afternoon.
Dr.
At
Bob
the tone,
Wood.
the time will be 4.
And this is Vin Scully
1.
along with Alex Hawkins.
And 40 seconds.
Doffing our cap and a low bow from the waist to all of the men.
And you did good, boys.
Good afternoon. At the tone, the time will be 4. 1.
Billy Joe Dufresne
And 50
along
seconds.
with Danny White coming out, and Efren Herrera will try a field goal.
Good afternoon.
Charlie
At the tone, the time will be 4.
36,
2.
so it'll be a 46-yard field goal attempt. Instead, look out, it's going to be a punt. Oh, hello. And
Good afternoon. At the tone, the time will be 4. 2.
At about the 14-yard line. So Efren Herrera, out of a fake field goal.
Good afternoon. At the tone, the time will be 4.
10-yard line.
Little trickery there, huh?
And 20 seconds.
Oh, you now know why he's the place kicker, not the...
At the tone, the time will be 4. 2. And 50 seconds.
Pisarcik is going to be sacked by Harvey Martin. That is the
Good afternoon. At the tone, the time will be 4.
Downed, and look at John McVeigh.
He might be saying it. If today was a fish, I'd throw it back in.
Good afternoon. At the tone, the time will be 4. 3.
Hit the rug here.
And 10 seconds.
John, things will pick up. Hang in there, boy.
Good afternoon. At the tone, the time will be 4. 3.
So the best thing you can say for the Giants now, of course, and for Pisarcik in particular, it's experience.
And look out
for Harvey Martin. At the tone, the time will be 4.
15, 14, 3. You can watch the count yourself.
And 30 seconds.
On a fake draw, play action fake, Pisarcik.
Good afternoon.
Over
At the
middle,
tone, the time will be 4.
They get a
3.
first down across the 25.
And 40 seconds.
That is called a murmur of protest. That's about all with 2 seconds left
Good
to go.
afternoon. At the tone, the time will be 4.
Jimmy Robinson,
3.
I watched him play at Georgia Tech, and he caught
And
a lot of
50
balls
seconds.
down there. He will go inside for you.
Good afternoon. At the tone, the time will be 4. 4.
So you can see the deuce up there on the scoreboard. That's all that's left of this one. The Dallas Cowboys, a marvelous
Good afternoon.
football
At the
machine,
tone, the time will
leading
be
the Giants
4.
24 to 10.
You put it right on the money.
And 10 seconds.
Machine. From top to bottom, it's a fine organization, brother. Took them 7 years to start winning, but they did it the
Good
right
afternoon.
way.
At the tone, the time will be 4.
Obviously.
4.
Everybody that you want to
And
talk
20
to, they
seconds.
copy in the Cowboy way. The Seattle Seahawks, the Tampa Bay crowd, they all want to build their organization.
Good
like
afternoon.
the
At the tone, the time will be 4.
Tom Landry, this
4.
will be the 145th
And 30
victory
seconds.
in his magnificent career as the 6th winningest coach in NFL history.
Good afternoon. At the tone, the time will be 4.
Well,
4.
this will be the last hurrah.
And 40 seconds.
If it is a hurrah at all for Joe Pisarcik, wind up and let it fly.
Good
No
afternoon.
good. He
At the
threw it
tone, the
into a
time will
mob
be 4.
intended for
4.
Perkins. Barnes and Harris
50
were there.
seconds.
That's it. As the Dallas Cowboys defeat the New York Giants 24 to 10.
Good afternoon. At the tone, the time will be 4.
For Alex
5.
Hawkins saying goodbye from Giant
Exactly.
Stadium in East Rutherford, New Jersey. Remember, next Saturday on the CBS Sports Spectacular, we'll start
Good
you off right.
afternoon. At the
with
tone, the
Dixie
time will be
500
4.
From Atlanta,
5.
featuring top drivers such as
And
Cale
10
Yarborough
seconds.
and Richard Petty. Also, some of America's top Cowboys will compete in the Pendleton
Good afternoon.
Roundup.
At the tone, the
Larry
time will be
Mahan
4.
lending his
5.
expertise. And finally,
And
more
20
action
seconds.
in the world's strongest men competition. Right here on the CBS Sports Spectacular.
Good afternoon. At the tone, the time will be 4. 5.
Stay tuned as the
And 30
NFL
seconds.
Today continues after this word from your local station.
Are we turning our kids into sugar junkies?
Good afternoon. At the tone,
Will
the time
Israel's
will be
Prime
4.
Minister give an inch?
5.
And whatever happened to the Air
And
Force's
40
midget
seconds.
flying machine? Watch 60 Minutes tonight on CBS.
Good afternoon. At the tone, the time will be 4. 5. And 50 seconds.